signals for the Baltimore Colts. Unitas gives to Amici. The Colts are the world champions. Amici scores.
It's amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football. California won the big game.
One second left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes.
This is Phil Steele.
This is Mike Burnham.
This is Wes Durham.
This is Mike Ashley.
Hi, this is Chuck Foreman, number 44 of the Minnesota Vikings.
Woo, mercy, this is handsome Jimmy Vine, the Boogie Woogie Man.
This is Coach Pry with Virginia Tech Football, and you are listening to Big Dog Sports Talk.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Okay, let's do it.
You're in the doghouse with Rick Watson on Big Dog Sports Talk, presented by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Join us in the Family Fencing Studios and chime in on the McClellan Chiropractic chat line. He's keeping cool with help from Little River Heating and Air, but this show is straight fire. And now, the big dog, Rick Watson.
Rick Watson's got the mic. He's the big dog king. Cover sports.
Hey, how are you? Good morning. It is Monday here on the program. Hope you're well, wherever you might be. We got more awfulness in terms of winter weather headed our way. We'll get into that a little bit. Hit us up on the McClellan Chiropractic chat room. A lot to get to. Also on our Professional Door Incorporated text line. You could probably compact everything that happened this weekend in a 4-hour program. My goodness gracious. Did anything happen, guys, gals, in the world of sport?
He's got the scoop, faster than a sprint. Calling plays like a coach.
So what we do know is, before we get into any of the sports stuff, weather-wise, so it's going to be one of those. Let's see all you snow people. You had your fun Thursday into Friday. You know, we had about the 3 inches or so. It was easy to well, not easy, but it was a little easier to shovel. It went away over the weekend. We had a good melt. Roads were fine. You got all the germs killed. See, this is where snow people, the greed of snow people, now they get all excited today. And today is going to be the worst kind because it's going to start when people are already at work, and it's just going to build up all day. Started out as rain. I think that may have surprised some people. It's raining right now. Heavy, though. Heavy precipitation throughout the day, and then it's going to build up, and now they're saying we could get more than the 3 inches they called for, so we'll see what happens. But all the snow people, no, you had your shot, and now you see this is why the rest of us hate it, because now it just continues, and now everybody's going to be put out trying to get home. They've closed all the schools. Radford University's closed again. And it's just going to be a crappy afternoon, evening. And what do? You did have to go to work. You're going to get home. You're going to have to shovel and clean stuff off. It's going to be treacherous driving. See, you can't just have your one day, snow people. You get to have the start of the week as well. Enough's enough. So Brent Pry is back in Blacksburg. We have to make sure we give Damian Sordelet his flowers on Wednesday because he brought this proposal up, I don't know, about 2 weeks into the search, remember? And we were like, nah, come on, man. Why would he do that? Well, it's interesting to see Tech reaction. This is a guy who failed as the head coach, put the program in the situation that it was in, that it needed a new head coach. And I don't know how many of you in chat I won't say ripped him, but we're very relieved that he was gone. On our Facebook page, which, by the way, over the weekend, with the post that I was making about that and the college football playoff, we had over 20,000 interactions on the BDST Facebook page, by the way. Yeah. Thank you. I don't get a damn dime for that, but it's great. Great that people are following the page. Anyway, and sharing everything we do. So everybody was happy he was gone, and now James Franklin is bringing him back as a defensive coordinator. And we now have to get your reaction about that, honestly. I think Brent Pry is a terrific dude. He came on the show all the time, unlike the new head coach is going to do. But I'm not sure about this move. I mean, is it just being familiar? Does it mean James Franklin is striking out with the people he's trying to get? I don't know. We haven't had any comments from Virginia Tech. And as a matter of fact, it hasn't been anybody locally that's reported this. It's been a national reports and confirming it. So, in other words, you didn't see the Roanoke Times confirm it. You didn't see – let me see if Damian updated. Tech sideline didn't have any information on it. It was all national people, and I wonder if that was also James Franklin bypassing local folks. Yeah, nobody wrote about it locally, which I thought was very interesting. But it's done, and I got to get your honest thoughts about all that. The defenses weren't very good that he had in Blacksburg, and now you can say, well, Chris Marv was the coordinator. Well, no, Brent Pry was his defense. He was co-coordinator the years for James Franklin. We're going to talk to Phil Elmassian, Todd Grantham. We got all the great people on today to talk about it. It's perfect. You're going to just sit back and get educated like I will with those two guys. Jermaine Ferrell will wrap up the high school tournament. One more week. Glenver's going to play for a state championship. Grayson County lost by 1. I hate that. Glenver beat Union 21-20. Go Highlanders. And Joi Williams is going to join us. And you are going to enjoy hearing from Joi. You're going to enjoy hearing from Joi. Yeah, that's why I make the big bucks. Joi is a Radford University basketball player, and she went off against Navy last week. She had 36 points. She hit an unbelievable 3 to send the game into double overtime. And, folks, I know how down we are, the playoff mess and how crappy college sports is. And trust me, it is an absolute cesspool of awfulness. Hopefully when you meet Joi here on the program today, you're going to go, that's why we still kind of come back to it. A great student, great player, terrific young lady, and we're going to have fun with that. So she's going to join us at 7:15. Jermaine Ferrell, Joi Williams, Phil Elmassian, Todd Grantham. And I don't know what else anybody's doing across the country on their YouTube shows, but you're not going to find better content from a guest perspective than what we're having today, especially in lieu of all the things that are going on regionally, locally, and nationally. You're welcome, America. You're welcome. We got a lot going on. So we'll try to get to as much of it as we can. I want your honest appraisal. First of all, what do you think, Brent Pry? Do you like him as the defensive coordinator? Because I know one thing, and I can go back and check the receipts. There was nobody in chat that was sorry that he was fired as the head coach. It's unprecedented. It's unprecedented from the standpoint that in the same calendar year that the football coach is fired, the head football coach, that he is then rehired by that same school. It's odd. And no matter what you think of it, it's odd. I think, Tebow, your last phrase is exactly the way I look at it. It is what it is. No idea whether it'll work. Is this an indication that James Franklin's having trouble getting his own people? Was this the plan all along? We don't know because we don't have any information. I don't know. And I think people were okay if he'd have been an analyst or something, but defensive coordinator? I don't know. We'll see. I'm glad he's still around because that means I don't have to change the show open. And I'll be interested to see how Tech Fan pivots from so glad he's gone, what a disaster. There were a lot worse comments on the BDST Facebook page and here in chat and on the text line. But it was funny to see yesterday when I posted it, and that interaction alone got over 15,000, or that post alone got over 15,000 interactions. How many people are drinking the Kool-Aid? Oh, this is wonderful. Yeah. I'm like, which is it? It's a very curious hire. How's that? I won't say it's bad because I like the guy. It's a very curious decision from James Franklin. And why did no local people have it? And I don't mean me, because I don't give a damn about breaking news. But why did the Tech beat writers not have it? Why did it's just weird that it went to a national report. And was that intentional? I don't know. So we'll get into all that. I want your thoughts. I value your thoughts. It's weird. It's weird. Now, from personal experience, I can tell you that it can work. I am a lifelong Denver Broncos fan. And our defensive coordinator is our former head coach, Vance Joseph, whose Broncos defense is one of the best in the NFL and is really the only reason the Broncos somehow have won 10 in a row and are 11-2. Now, he was the head coach. Everybody liked him. It's very similar, and I bring this up because it's a lot like Brent Pry. Everybody likes Vance Joseph. He's a terrific dude. Some people are just suited to be coordinators more than head coaches, and I think that's the case with Vance. Now, it wasn't the very same calendar year he was rehired. They went through a couple coaches, and then Sean Payton got there, had a relationship with Vance. It checked with the brass in Denver and said, hey, I think he fits what my vision of our defense is supposed to be. Can I talk to him? And if I want to hire him, can I hire him? And they were like, sure. Is Vance okay with it? Because everybody, when he left, nobody had any ill will toward him. Fans didn't like his teams, and he wasn't a good head coach. Brent Pry was a lousy head coach. But it doesn't mean that he can't come back and coordinate the defense. And Vance Joseph has done a great job. Now, it's different in the NFL than college. This is unprecedented in college. Not that coaches are coming back, even in a different role, but to happen this quickly. It's very strange. Very, very strange. But look, for the guy, for Brent Pry, I'm happy. If he wants to be part of it and he's that close with Franklin, then that's great. That's great. You didn't hear any bad words from him when he was let go. He just kind of left. Obviously, he was a factor in Franklin coming here. And he loves the place. So good for him, good for him. But I'm not going to sit here and rip on it. It's strange. It's a head scratcher, but maybe it works. I don't know. Maybe it works. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, I want your thoughts here on the McClellan Chiropractic chat line and, of course, on the text line. All the people that are hitting me up on the text line, all schools are closed. Everything is closed. We're closed at Radford. This stuff, it's not out there now. It's going to hit here soon because the temperatures are starting to fall. This was supposed to be snow already. It's rain right now, but it's going to get – it's going to be annoying because you're going to be at work or wherever you are, and then you're going to look out and go, yeah, can I go ahead and leave? Can I get home? And then we're all going to be shoveling this evening. When it's dark, colder. Yay, winter. Virginia. I don't know how else to say it. They weren't ready to play. Tony Elliott did not have them ready to play, and Duke was better. They won in overtime. And when that happened, I was thinking, Armageddon for the league. And then sure enough, the playoff comes out, and what did we keep saying? Head-to-head has to matter. This whole thing is a farce. This whole thing, I think this system is a disaster. But if head-to-head doesn't matter, why do we play any games at all? Miami beat Notre Dame. And I'm sorry, Notre Dame fan, you don't deserve to be in the playoff. Your resume was no better than Miami's, and you lost to them. I don't give a damn when the game was played at all. I don't care. Right? Doesn't matter. Give me the significant win Notre Dame had on their schedule. USC played Texas A&M, lost. Played Miami, lost. They're not in a conference. And then how does Notre Dame react? Notre Dame decides to stomp their feet and say, we're not going to play in our bowl game. We are in massive protest. Really? And I got to get who's the Notre Dame? Joseph, you're the Notre Dame guy. I know you're upset they didn't make it, but do you agree them not playing in a bowl game? Got to get your reaction. Penn State, for all the gloom and doom that all the shade that Tech fans been thrown at them, seem to recover pretty damn well with Matt Campbell. And I don't want to hear anybody dissing Matt Campbell, because when we bought back the radio show and Tech was going through their initial coaching search, and even in this one, I went back and counted. One of the first names that Tech fan wanted was Matt Campbell right after Brent Pry was fired. This was before James Franklin was let go at Penn State. Penn State hired Matt Campbell. So for all the whatever was being presumed about their coaching search and everybody trying to say that, hey, they lost one high school class, they're going to be set back 10 years. Like the transfer portal doesn't exist, and like he's not going to bring a ton of Iowa State recruits with him. I kept saying this all along. Penn State's going to be just fine. You know why? Because they're Penn State. They survived the Sandusky scandal. They're going to survive maybe a search that they didn't plan out as well as maybe a lot of people thought. And they ended up hitting a massive home run. Yeah, when you see the opposing athletic director crying, supporting him but crying that he left, they know they lost a good guy. Joseph says, yes, Notre Dame thumbing their nose at being in a bowl game. And I agree. You know what? The whole Alabama thing, I agree with you, Joseph. I'll say that too. Alabama was not competitive at all against Georgia. Looked horrible. But they were moved up the week before ahead of Notre Dame for protection. And all these idiots at ESPN, Kirk Herbstreit, just shut the hell up. That guy gets paid multi-millions of dollars to have the observation, and he said this with a straight face. BYU should definitely be penalized for losing the Big 12 game, but Alabama shouldn't be for losing the SEC game. Gee, I wonder why he would say that. It has nothing to do with his network being, business partners with the SEC, does it? Nah. No integrity, no honesty. Alabama looked terrible. Just terrible. But they're in, baby. With 3 losses, they're in. 5 SEC teams get in. And now many other teams are opting out of bowl. What we're seeing, and this is great news, and look, I am ecstatic that James Madison is in. It is awesome. They have to go to Oregon. Tulane also gets in. So 2 group of 5 teams is in, which means this whole system is about to be imploded. There's not one of the TV networks that's happy about it. Tulane and Ole Miss should be a good game. The Dukes are going to have a great experience traveling to Oregon, regardless of what happens. Bob Chesney will coach them, by the way. He was officially announced at UCLA on Saturday. We're going to have Matt Rohn, the athletic director, on the program. But the fact that 2 G5 teams are in, the TV networks will not stand for. And you don't want to miss Elmassian and Todd Grantham talk about all this today. Those guys were ahead of the curve telling me what was going to happen before it ever happened. And sure enough, it all happened. But there's no TV exec, no advertiser who's happy that there's 2 G5 teams in this playoff field of 12. What this is going to mean is you are going to see an expansion of the playoff that's going to be imploded. And the conversation around it's going to be a lot of fun. These networks are going to be revealed for what they are. Fox included. Fox included. It's crazy. Just crazy. But anyway, for Herb Street to sit there with a straight face and say that and think people aren't going to jump all over, and he got memed, he got ripped on X. I mean, we're talking about national pundits, his peers in the industry ripping him. And they don't care because they control it all. They don't care. But Bama not getting it. I mean, and the thing about it, too, we all saw it coming, but yet when it happens, we still get pissed off about it. Like, we all saw it. We all knew it was going to happen. Every one of us knew that they were going to get at least, talking about the SEC, we're going to get at least 5 teams in. So let me hear it, chat. What are your thoughts? Are you jumping through hoops that Brent Pry is back as the defensive coordinator? You're going to pretend like it's not weird? I'd like to know. Are you just drinking the Kool-Aid that much that every move is going to be A-okay? Because it's just weird. You fire the head coach. He's the reason the program's where it is, and you bring him back into that program. We'll see. We'll see what happens. He stayed here. You think about it. He didn't have to move. He doesn't have to pack his house, and he gets to go back to work at a place that he worked before. What a great gig. What a great gig, man. It's awesome. Good for them. Good for them. But we'll see. Will we get any kind of conversation about it? When will we hear something from James Franklin? Why was everything done without the local media? Right? And Tebow, you keep saying that about UVA. Who drank the UVA Kool-Aid? What the hell does that even mean? They had won 10 games, and they were playing in the ACC championship. Okay, they got beat. They weren't ready to play. I don't know what that means. Like, I mean, I don't care either way, but you got to give them credit for having it. If you're a Virginia Tech fan, wouldn't you rather had a 10-win season? Wouldn't you rather been playing on Saturday night than being 3-9? Right? Okay. So I'll remember you said that when Virginia Tech has a 10-win season. Tech doesn't play anybody either in that league. Look at Tech's schedule next year. So if Virginia Tech, go look at their schedule next year. If they come out of there with 10 wins, are we just going to say that it doesn't matter? Winning is hard, man. 10 wins is hard to obtain. Because we see from week to week, you see upsets. These are college kids. Some of them don't care about playing. If they're not getting paid, they didn't get their check. You never know how it's going to go. The temperature of the climate has completely changed. I'm not going to sneeze at 10 wins one way or the other. Alabama didn't get 10 wins, and they're in the playoff. So if Tech gets 10 wins, I guess it's official from Tebow. It means nothing. If Tech goes 10-2 next year, got it. Okay, we'll write that down here. 10-2 doesn't mean a damn thing. Okay. Got it. Okay. It's hard to win. It's really, really hard to win. At any level, it's hard to win. But no, I'm never going to say 10 wins is not going to matter. And we talked about it all year. They didn't have great style points, but they were finding ways to win. And they almost found another way to win. That game went to overtime. By the way, this is why people think sports is not real anymore. When they tried to say that the Virginia receiver there at the end got forced out of bounds, is it me or did he not just run out of bounds by himself? Wasn't that curious? Because if he runs out of bounds by himself, he can't be the first guy to come in and make a catch. They showed these angles. You could tell they were trying to find an angle that supported the call. But tell me that wasn't just a little bit sketchy. Am I right? Or did you think that he got forced out of bounds? I didn't think he got forced out of bounds. Looked like to me he decided to take that first step or two outside of the sideline stripe. Now, you had the guy there with him, and they were kind of locked arm, but I didn't see a shove or I didn't see like a shoulder pushing him out. So I'm sitting there going, why did that count? Because I just immediately thought they were going to – because he saw the official, he threw his hat. And when they throw their hat, that means, oh, he's ineligible. He went out of bounds. It's done. But they gave it to him, and I thought that was curious. And we're going to talk about it later in the week, but more game fixing has come into the light in the NFL yesterday. And this will get pushed to the back burner with everything going on this week. But if you saw it, and it involved my Broncos, the Broncos were 8.5-point favorites. The over and under was, 40. I don't know what it was. 40. The over and under was, no, here you go. The over and under was 40.5. The Broncos were 7-point favorites. The Raiders kick a field goal as time ran out. It was 24-14, which means the Broncos had covered. The over and under was at 38. It was set at 40.5. They were winning by 10. They were favored by 7.5. The Raiders kick a field goal. The clock expires. The Broncos win by 7. And then the Raiders covered the over by 0.5 point. A meaningless field goal. You never see that. They were down 24-14. The field goal with that much time does no good. You're not going to win the game. Why else kick it if you weren't trying to manipulate the points? You're not hearing about it a lot now, but you will. It's building up on X, and there's going to be some questions that need to be answered. I'm not sure anything we watch is legitimate anymore. We know that the college football playoff's not legitimate anymore. We know that. The call in the UVA game, it's all just – yeah, the Browns game too. Yeah, you're right. The Browns game is also being scrutinized today. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. They took their quarterback out of the game to run a 2-point conversion with what? Somebody else, like a wildcat trying to throw a throwback pass. And then nobody looked upset. And that's the point, Joseph. The fact Tulane is 21-point underdogs. I think JMU's larger underdogs than that. That's why the playoff won't stay where it is. And that's why the networks are not happy whatsoever. I want to thank the NRV Super Bowl for their support. They have the bowler of the month, Sarah Williams. She bowled a 288 and a 271. Congratulations to Sarah. Super Bowl is the area's leading entertainment center. They have NRV Nightlife at the Super Bowl, which opens on Friday, December the 12th. They've revamped the whole thing from 11 to 1 a.m. It's now 1,900 square feet. It's called a Neoverse wall. So give them a call, 540-382-5525, and ask for Amanda or Terry. How cool is that? And I think that's where we're going to have the BDST meetup. I think that's what we're going to do. Thanks to Lawson's Mobile Home Supply, James Lawson, located at 300 North Franklin Street in Christiansburg, 540-381-8011. Windows, doors, plumbing supplies, plus installation. Yeah, exactly, Wayne. Yeah. How in the world do you bowl like that, man? How are you that good? She's good. She's really good. It's awesome. 288 and a 292. You could probably add up all of my rounds. Like if we bowled 3 or 4 games and I might hit 288. We need to get some of those bowlers on. What we need to do is, like we're going to do with Mark Hundley over at McClellan Chiropractic, sponsor of our chat room. We need to have Sarah showing me how to bowl and, get the spin and get the break and all that. I think it's so cool. I've never been able to do that. The way they manipulate their wrist and do it, it's crazy, man. Crazy. Go get your next vehicle, by the way, at Harvey's Gym in Radford. Just took my son's car down to the service department. Not only do you get great deals from Brad, you'll find exactly what you want at the best price. If you ever need it serviced, they're not going to try to rip you off. They're honest with you. Hey, this is what you're looking at. If you don't want to pay for that, we can do this now to get it going. You can come back, whatever you need to do. So go to Harvey's Gym in Radford. And see Brandon at Top Shelf Apparel, too, 4377 Lee Highway. And if you want a BDST shirt, let me show you what it looks like here. Where is it? There is it. I can't find it. Can't find it. There it is. Boom. Hit me up. $20 locally. I can mail them to you for $30. If you want more than one, I'll keep it at $30. I'll just put them in a package for you. There you go. Great Christmas gift. Great stocking stuffer, the BDST T-shirts. Thanks to Family Fencing. Talked to Jason Green yesterday. He was at the Radford game as we beat St. Francis. 540-200-8294, familyfencingnrv.com. Snow again today. If you had your fence up, you wouldn't have to worry about it. Don't wait around for the winter to get worse. Then they work through the winter. They don't care. They just don't care. They care about you and your yard. They don't care about the weather. McClellan Chiropractic Clinic. Thanks to Mark Hundley and Company. Cold weather means your back's going to pop. Yeah, we will get Creed to sign the shirts. Yes. Yes, we will. We'll work on that. Talked to Travis Williams a lot this weekend. He's, of course, the owner and proprietor of Professional Door Incorporated, sponsor of our text line. He's so excited for Matt Roan. He's going to fly out there. He's best friends with Tater. And he's going to fly out to the Oregon game, it looks like, to go support James Madison against the Ducks. 38 years in business, right across from me in RCC. Great people. The Ready Set Fund, bobchrist11@gmail.com, readysetfund.com. Check it out. You're trying to raise some money for your school organization, your church, whatever it might be. Give Bob a call. Ready Set Fund is there to help you. They help raise $4,000 for the Floyd County softball team. Yeah. It's great stuff. National Bank, member FDIC, exclusive banking partner, BDST. Thanks to Larry Ramsey and Company. They are awesome. Yes, at least Indiana got the win. Best game of the weekend it was. We got to talk about Kurt Cignetti. It's the best coaching job maybe in the last, 50 to 80 years of college football, what he's done with Indiana football. The attorney, Ryan Pry, brings you your fan question of the week, 701 West Main Street in Radford. Trust and estate planning What's it going to be this week? I guess it should be centered. You know what? It's going to be simple. I guess it's simple. It's got to be centered around Brent Pry being brought back as the defensive coordinator. Are you down for it? Is this a good move, or what do you think? Especially all of you who ripped him here in chat. And I mean, you ripped his ass. And now he's coming back. Your thoughts? Like to hear them. Little River Heating and Air, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg, 540-553-2971. Go see Charles Lee. Again, they'll come out as well. The weather, it doesn't really matter. And then Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Saw Jonathan Sweet yesterday. Didn't get a chance to talk to him at the Radford game. Presenting sponsor of this program, and we're going to have all those folks on. I think this week that's starting, as we got a lot to get to. And thanks to the Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce, Steve Bufato. Signetti and what he's done in Indiana, mind-blowing. That's a program that had absolutely nothing, no tradition, no history, no nothing. And what he has done, the number one seed in the playoff, Indiana football. The Mendoza kid is an outstanding quarterback. He's the best player in the country, but who knows if he'll win the Heisman. The Heisman's ridiculous anyway. Joseph says, I saw the whole Pry hiring from the start. I thought maybe there might be some kind of position for him, but I never thought he'd be a defensive coordinator. Yeah, we do. We're going to have to let Damian on Wednesday get his flowers. Yeah. He threw out that theory, and we all were, me especially, scoffed. No, it never happened. Good morning, Jason. Going to have some crappy weather again today. I know right now people are probably excited. And I get it. If you like snow, you like snow. I do not. But it's going to be one of those while you're at work. I just hope everybody is safe. And I hope people can get where they need to get. And school will be out for, I don't know how long. It will be out again tomorrow. I don't know about Radford, but it'll be out again tomorrow at the local schools. Because I think this stuff's going to pile up pretty quickly. Depends on how warm the surface is. We're still at 34 degrees, but I think it's a lot of precipitation. If you ever want to know what's going on with the weather, I strongly urge you. I try to turn you on to things that are positive. Kevin Myatt on X, Myatt. Don't watch the local weather people, whatever. Myatt is the absolute best. I know him a little bit from the very first run of the show. He was doing weather for the Roanoke Times at the time. But now let me tell you where he works for Cardinal News, Virginia. And this is all he does. He's at the point where all he does is study weather. He's an actual real meteorologist. He's terrific. But if you want to know what's going on with the weather, just follow Kevin Myatt. Tell him we sent you. He doesn't know I'm doing this. I'm just doing it because it's somebody. If you're outside and you work somewhere and you have to travel, Myatt's the one you should follow. He says it's an odd patchwork of snow versus rain reports around our area as the atmosphere is cooling unevenly. Snow will develop from higher elevations to lower ones from northeast to southwest in the next couple of hours. Short-term models had this pegged, but it's a bit unnerving for forecasts. In other words, we're still going to get up to 3 to 4 inches. Paul, good to have a 4-hour show today. Hey, I sure not to be at Radford. Tebow says if Franklin wants him as DC, I trust him. Okay. I hope you're right. I hope it works out for Brent Pry because I really like the guy. I really do. I really do. Signetti has no 4- or 5-star recruits on his roster. No, he does not. It's all about coaching. You can get excited about those stupid-ass recruiting stars all you want. It's ridiculous. Those sites, by the way, and we'll ask Grantham. You want to know what coaches in college football think about the recruiting services? Nothing. 98% of those people have never even played the game. They don't see about 75 to 80% of any of the players that oh, wait a minute, he's a 5-star, he's a 4-star. And then everybody just gets all enamored. Get the players here, coach them, and then watch them perform. How many times did Frank Beamer build a team on who knows how many stars? How many walk-ons became major superstars at Virginia Tech? How many guys that nobody recruited but Tech? John Engelberger, one of my all-time favorite Hokies. Ben Taylor, Brandon Simonis. You can throw out how many names. It's about coaching. James Franklin will get good players here. Does he turn them into a championship contender? That's the key. So whomever decides to commit, trust the coaches, right? Don't get so caught up in, well, he's only a 2 or 3 star. No, don't look at it that way. If you want him to come play, then let's get him here and see what happens. Frankie, congratulations. You are a real one. Lifelong Miami fan. And you know what? For all the people who wanted UVA to lose, it worked out. Now, for me, my whole thing was tied into I did not want the ACC to be, Cody Graham, there you go. I did not want the ACC. That would have been horrible, as David Teal said last week. And when Duke won, I'm thinking, oh, my goodness. They're going to take Notre Dame in the ACC. This is going to be Armageddon for the Atlantic Coast Conference. I got to be honest, I did not think they were going to put Miami in. I did not. So it worked out for all the Tech fans who wanted UVA to lose. Lost, they didn't win the ACC, and you still have an ACC team in the postseason. And I'm sorry, Notre Dame fan, it's hard to argue. You lost the game to Miami. If the games don't matter, why the hell are we playing them? And I think everybody with 2 eyes could watch and see that Miami has more talent than anybody in the league. And maybe now they're going to, with this reprieve, they're going to show everybody they belong. We'll see. We'll see. What's up, KB? Joi is coming on at 7:15. Joi Williams will be on with us at 7:15. I don't want to speak for Matt Jason, but I would say that probably won't happen with the James Franklin hire in Blacksburg. I'll ask him directly. Matty is a football AD. He's proved that. He's proved that. And I think if he were to ever come to Blacksburg, he wouldn't be able to do much with football, and I don't think that would satisfy him. Because it's going to be James Franklin's show and James Franklin only, right? What's up, Robert? Good morning. How are you? But there can't be any Notre Dame fan. Well, I can't say there can't be any. But declining the bowl game and the comments they made after, it's almost as if they believe that everyone looks at them like they look at themselves. They're not part of a conference. And by the way, Todd Grantham sent me this. I got to ask him about this. Hang on. And I want to know what you think of this. By the way, each team selected in the playoff bracket gets $4 million. That means $20 million more to the SEC. Ross Dellinger said this. And let me know. I bet it is cold there, Robert. It's kind of cold here, too. We're getting a lot of snow, too. Not like you, though. Robert's our friend from Montana who stopped by. And thanks for subscribing, Robert. Joseph, did you know about this? As part of the MOU that was signed last spring, Notre Dame is assured of a college football playoff berth, if it's ranked in the top 12 starting next year. So in other words, they would have been in this year. So if this year's situation unfolds again next year with a team like Miami, then the final at-large team would have gotten bumped for number 11, Notre Dame. What? This playoff format is just a complete disaster. I mean, who signed off on that? Notre Dame next year plays Wisconsin, who nearly fired its coach. Rice. Michigan State fired their coach. Purdue, horrible. North Carolina, horrible. Navy, they play Miami. BC, SMU, at Syracuse, Stanford, and USC. So how does Notre Dame, not part of a conference, get that? And I got to ask Todd about that. That just seems like a complete conflict of interest to me. I don't understand. It just, that blows me away. So Notre Dame's saying, hey, what about our bias? Well, yeah, you didn't deserve to make the playoff. But next year, it's already put into the formula that you're going to be considered regardless. Because I don't understand. Is that an NBC? Did they get involved in the negotiations or something? Is that what that is? I don't know, man. I don't know. I just don't know. I think you're going to see it expanded to 16 next year. That's my opinion. A lot of people are asking me on the Professional Door text line. Everything ESPN and Disney touches has ruined. They've ruined all the movie franchises, and they've ruined college football. And you think about on the surface, and Joseph, I'm not trying to pick on Notre Dame because I know what Notre Dame is and what they stand for. But in what world does one team get to play by different rules? They don't have to be part of a conference. They're the only team that's going to get that kind of consideration, the one I just read from Ross Dellinger. They can schedule anybody they want. Now, for the most part, they don't always load down with cupcakes. They do challenge themselves, and everybody's going to want to play Notre Dame because of the money it brings in. But you're not part of a conference in any way, shape, or form. You don't have to worry about a conference road game. I know you play a few ACC games, but that's not the same. And now you get this special little inclusion beginning next year. If you're in the top 12, you're going to be in the playoff. Doesn't matter what happens. Explain it to me. So this year you don't get in. Was this because of the new rule coming in? But you know what? We went. And Tebow, you are 100% correct with your last post just now. Disney they've ruined everything they've touched. And what they've really ruined is something that we all care about, college football. Teams opting out of bowls left and right, by the way. Left and right. All right, here we go. So let's go through Notre Dame one more time. One more time. Lost to Miami, lost to Texas A&M. You beat Purdue, Arkansas, Boise State, NC State, beat USC by 10, BC, Navy, Pitt, Syracuse, and Stanford. None of that's going to make you feel like you're going to jump through hoops, right? Yeah. Tater, Matt Roan, he turned into a star after he got on the mic. Yeah, the JMU fans, that was ridiculous. Throwing snowballs is idiotic and it's completely stupid. Hey, good morning, Prometheus. Yeah, that was stupid. Careless, stupid, dumb. Why people behave that way, I don't know. But, boy, Tater took care of it. Matt Roan got on there. He was all over social media, man. He was pissed. He was upset. We're in Southwest Virginia, Citaram. Southwest Virginia. We're in the Southeast region, United States. We talk about all things sports. Yeah. But yeah, he was mad. Very, very mad. And he got it done. Once he made that announcement, man, you could see everybody just sit back and go, okay. But that's stupid. I don't know why you're throwing snowballs at kids out there trying to play the game. Can't happen. Oh, really? Welcome from India. Hey, mark it down. That's like the 9th or 10th different country that's been represented in our chat since we started the show. Welcome. What was my nickname when I was throwing knuckles? I didn't really have one. Like, I didn't have anything written on the back of my robe. I'll tell you what they tried to do at the beginning, and I put an end to it because, Ric Flair is Slick Rick, right? I remember one time they tried to bill me as that. Slick Rick. No, let's just go with Rick. Let's don't do it. I didn't really have one. It's a good question, Tebow. I never did really have anything like that. Yeah, the conference games, yeah, it's got the bowl games, the whole system's corrupt. That being said, we will do a bowl challenge here on the program. I'll put it up on the Facebook page. What I'll try to do is post the link here so we can all sign up, and we'll have T-shirts. We'll try to come away with some prizes or something. Hey, welcome. All right. Yeah, we love the USA too. Thank you. I was white bean. I was just a guy trying to use that outlet because I was I needed that, at the time. And I loved it. The discipline it taught me. It serves me very well every day of my life going forward. The things you learn when you commit to that. And I'll tell you one thing, when you are staring face first into the eyes of somebody else there in the center of the ring, and your whole goal is to knock their head off, their whole goal is to knock your head off. There's not a whole lot of things outside of that scare you. Just put it that way. Once you do that, you're pretty much ready for anything. And that's kind of the way you handle it. Teaches you a new respect for everything. It does. Rick ribeye because he would tenderize you. Ooh, I like that. Yeah, I was okay. Until I tried to move up in class, and he took me down to North Carolina, and I didn't last but about a round and a half against a higher level fighter. But that's okay. 18 fights, 17-1, and the one ended my brief run. I was getting a little older and realized, yeah. Joseph, as you know, Rick, Notre Dame's schedule, like all others, are meat. Well, yeah, but that's not – they can get out of that pretty easy now, especially Notre Dame. They thought Boise State and USC, would be, but they're not. Yeah, they failed. But you can get out of those schedules pretty quickly. Virginia Tech has proven that too, right? They've proven that. So Joi Williams at 7:15 right after Jermaine. We're looking forward to talking with Joi. I got to send her. I'm going to send her the invite now. She sent me her email address. Let me do that now. I'm telling you, you're going to have a great time meeting Joi. It's going to give you hope for the student athlete experience. And the way that our women's coach, Mike McGuire, and his staff. All right, let me make sure I've got this thing right here because I am really bad at typing. Really, really bad at typing. All right. So I'm going to send her that now. But we need some good news with student athletes. We just need some good news. We need some positive vibes. Everything's down. I got to be honest. The whole college football thing is so corrupt. It's so bad. So bad. Yeah, Robert, how about those Broncos? 10 in a row. Beat the Raiders. And then there's controversy today with that field goal that didn't need to be kicked at all. Wow, it's crazy. No cauliflower ear. No cauliflower ear. But, hey, look, full disclosure. Last fight, kid by the name of Marcus Reese. And I went down to a little bit beyond Greensboro, had that fight. Big, strong. He was faster than me. And that's what fighting's all about. It's about speed. And he was faster than me. I got through the first round. Second round, I don't remember any of it. It was one of those movie scenes. I only watched the tape of it one time. Didn't watch it again. But I ducked under kind of a right cross, and then he hit me with an overhand left that I never clearly saw. You know, it was one of those that comes across and just catches you right there. And I just, I was gone. I was out. Woke up in the back on the table, just like you see. And I remember getting up, and my guys were sitting over me. Pops, the trainer, he was like, and I go, okay, we ready to go? My face was like this. You didn't feel it, but your face was like this, swollen. Hey, Rick, it's over, man. Fight's over. Fight's over. Oh, okay. And then after that, I got back in the ring. I healed and was training, but then I started to have massive headaches, and I started to have dropouts. And that's when it became a problem. And at this point, I was probably 23, 24. And at that point, I'm like, yeah, cut me. My eyes weren't cut, but boy, this right here, right, swollen up this side where he hit me. And what I mean by dropouts is, let's say you and I were sitting in the room. We were talking about Brent Pry coming back. We were talking about the playoff, and you'd be talking, and all of a sudden I'd just be like, and then the person would go, Rick, huh? So I got checked out, and I had some concussion syndrome, and I said, you know what? I'm done. And for about a year after that, I would go and get back and spar a little. But I don't regret a minute of it. I don't. Even though I got my ass kicked in the last fight. It's fine. It is what it is. Jermaine Ferrell scheduled to join us. Joi Williams, Phil Elmassian, and Todd Grantham. You don't want to miss Coach Elmassian. He's going to talk about the UVA game. We're going to talk about playoff. We're going to talk about what he looks at in the future of how this is going to look. And will it be the conferences? Will it be the TV networks? He's got some interesting theories. He's seen it all. And then Todd Grantham is going to talk about the playoff. We'll talk about, can this Brent Pry thing work? Matt Campbell, all these things that are happening. Teams opting out of bowl. We've got so much to cover. This could be a 17-hour show today. Paul, don't get me started. Don't do it, Paul. I give Paul a hard time. He keeps saying I need to expand the show. He's going to say, all right, I heard you, 17 hours. Let's go. T-Bone, 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 Coco the monkey. Go, 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 go. You like T-Bones? I love them. Well, then I think you need to be T-Bone. Seinfeld, by the way. Sorry. We got kind of carried away there. Seinfeld. T-Bone, T-Bone. People in text line. I have one VHS tape of a couple of my fights. Yes, yes. I do. It's all I have left. Building's gone. Everything's gone. Sad. Sad. But Kevin Bowen does a great job over at they're not sponsors, but I don't give a damn. Kevin Bowen at Blacksburg Boxing and Fitness does a great job. Kevin's great. Kevin's great. What's up, Morris? Good morning. Oh, I missed your open today. I'm sorry. There's so much going on. Morris, I'm sorry. The ass man. Oh, yeah, and when he was using the license plate to get the preferred parking. Hey, buddy, that's staff only. Hey, proctologist. God. Man, it's good stuff. That is good stuff. Really good stuff. I'll tell you this about Toby Lawal. He's out for a long time. I do know that. I got some intel on that. So what you're going to see is Mike Young when he mentions Toby Lawal. And you know what? That was a good win against Mason. Who was that? Was that? I don't know who posted it. Tebow, you're right. Mason was 9-0, and Mason's a really, really good mid-major team. I think Tex played really well without Lawal. No, I didn't have the Macho Camacho shorts. By the way, Morris, thanks for posting about the show, man. Appreciate it. By the way, please subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, Big Dog Sports Talk, DWG. Remember, it's absolutely free. Trying to get to 1,000. Once we get to 1,000, we're good to go. Please just subscribe, like, and share. We're covering everything. We have a lot of fun. It's the listener show. I've always said that. The viewers now. And I'm blown away. Thank you for having so many impressions on our Facebook page. That blew me away. Over 25,000. That's wild. That's wild. And none more so than the two that got the biggest was Notre Dame not playing in a bowl game, and, of course, Brent Pry coming back as the defensive coordinator. No, Opal. All you snow people, see, you had it early. You had your one thing. We let you get away with it heading into the weekend. But now, see, here we go. And what's frustrating is you can't get out and shovel it today when it starts. Like last time it worked out great. It snowed very quickly. It got out of here so you could get out there. I got out there right after the show, and I worked for a couple hours. I was pretty proud of it, so I posted on it. But now, you see, you have to wait all day until it stops. All right, Joi Williams joins us in about 10 minutes from Radford Basketball, joining us now on the program. There he is. He is Jermaine Ferrell. What's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm on TBS time, 5 minutes after the
That's okay. That's okay. Hey, Glenver Highlanders, one win away from a state title, beating Union 21-20.
I tell you what, we had some interesting games, Saturday. I mean, the Glenver game, they held on. Union went for 2, held on. Big win for them. And really, Glenver, they've really, when you look at the teams, like I said, we've had all year, they're, obviously undefeated, and they've been the most consistent all throughout the whole year. Had a 21-7 lead, and they held on, and they got the win. But it was a big-time game for them. Brody Doyop, once again, getting it done, and one heck of a kid, one heck of a player. And so, obviously, they'll play Strasburg 11:30 at Salem Stadium. And, Glenver opportunity to win a state championship for the first time since 2014, when they won that one in overtime. And, obviously, you had Coach Clifford's son, Zach, with a rushing touchdown and then a touchdown in overtime. And that was a great game against Wilson Memorial, too, from 11 years ago. So there'll be an opportunity right then and there.
And unfortunately for Grayson County, they fell 1 point short. But you know what? I think I saw a lot of these games ended with teams going for two, right? They were trying to win it. Is that what happened with Grayson, too? They just failed on the 2 point conversion?
Yeah, Grayson went for two, but then, they still had some time at the end to come back, and then they had the turnover. The Goad brothers did a great job in that game. And, they just came up a little short. And then you look at the other games. I mean, Jefferson Forest, Verona flexed on them a little bit there, and that was a tough one for them to lose. But then, Lake Taylor, a last-second touchdown, and then Liberty Christian with their game against Kell Run. I mean, they had a 28-9 lead in the second half, and Kell Run outscored them 20-0 to win that one. So a heartbreaker for LCA. But tough games. And this time of the year, it's just one of those things, Rick, as well as I do. When you lose, especially in the playoffs, and it's just when you lose, you have teams when you lose, an opportunity to go to state, to win a state championship, and you come one game short from that really hard. Then you look at Glenver. I mean, the way they played. And like I said, Glenver, 14-0, and they've been the most consistent team, throughout the whole season, and they're the only undefeated team remaining. And
That's
Union,
right.
with all the things going on down there, to go down there in a hostile environment. You've been down there. To play a game down here at Big Stone Gap and the tradition on that field and where everybody else has had wins, from previous teams, previous names, that place is a tough place to play. So when you get a win down there, you take it and you run with it. And great win by Glenver. But yeah, our other local teams, tough way to go out.
And Tebow mentioned it, Strasburg, a different animal. They're going to have to, that defense is going to have to show up pretty big coming up this weekend for the Highlanders. No question.
And Glenver's defense has played well all year. Like I said, when you've shut out 6 opponents and, you've only given up roughly 4 points a game. Now, obviously, Union was a little bit different. They had a lot of scoring there. To give up the 20 points, which exceeded the 19 they gave up against Carroll County. But I think when you have a Coach Clifford team and the way this team has been playing, they're going to be prepared and ready to go. And we'll just see how it goes the rest of the way. But just a tremendous win by Glenver. And like I said, we're down to one team, the last of the Mohicans, as they say.
That's right. They're here, man. They're here.
And then I hear that, after me, you're going to have Joi Williams. What a ball game she had.
Oh, my goodness.
36 points.
Yes.
Against, in their game. And she was lighting it up, too. Great person, too. She's going to be fun. Yeah. People are going to enjoy that. And Coach McGuire and what he's done with the Radford program. The all-time winningest coach at Radford for the women, and then obviously getting close to 200 victories and all that. What a tremendous coach. And I think he's not only is he a tremendous coach, he's a tremendous person.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
We've interacted with him several times, and there's a reason why his teams are always successful. It's because of what he's done. And when you get players like a Joi Williams, 36. I think she was 6 points away from the all-time record. I think the record was 2, something like that. So
yeah, absolutely. Hey, I got to ask you real quick, man. Brent Pry back as the defensive coordinator. I don't know who had that on their bingo card. Maybe after James Franklin came on board, we thought maybe he would be added in some capacity. But as the main guy back coordinating that defense, it's going to be interesting. I don't believe we've ever seen this before, not at the collegiate level, same year.
Well, I think the biggest thing is when you have the relationship between Coach Franklin and obviously Coach Pry. And the thing is, Coach Pry, he's one heck of a defensive coach. Look what he did with Penn State and their defenses, and even at Vanderbilt. So they are attached together, and they have had that. And I think people were talking about, well, why would you bring him back in that way? But, Coach Pry has a love for Virginia Tech, and I think he wants to do whatever he can to help Virginia Tech. And I'm sure that Coach, again, I don't have the inside scoop on this, but I'm sure there have been conversations. And, I'm sure Coach Franklin was having conversations with Coach Pry about Virginia Tech. And I'm sure during that conversation, hey, would you like to come back as defensive coordinator? And I think that'll be an interesting thing. And sometimes this might help Coach Pry down the line if he ever wants to be a head coach again, because sometimes, you have a lot of coaches that were head coaches. They've gone back and become coordinators, and they sometimes you shine more as a coordinator or assistant coach than a head coach. It's a whole different ball game when you move over to the next chair, because there's so many other obligations. And again, I think his love for Virginia Tech will be a big help and big plus. And he probably figured that wherever Coach Franklin was going to go, that Coach Pry would go with him. It's just interesting again to be at Virginia Tech. It's pretty good, but I think he'll do a great job as a defensive coordinator, and he can coach. Just didn't work out from the head coaching role, and we'll see how it goes. And I think he'll be embraced, and I think he'll do a good job with the Tech defense.
Well, I'm happy for him. He's a great dude. As you know, we got to know him really well. He always came on the show, and just a great guy. And I'm glad that he doesn't have to move. He can stay at a place that he loves. I mean, I hope it works out because I really like the guy. I hope it works out for him. I do.
And I think, Rick, the pressure of being the head coach is so much different than the coordinator role. I mean, at the end of the day, the success or anything that happens at Virginia Tech, it's all going to fall down on Coach Brent Pry. Coach James Franklin's shoulders. So they're going to look at Coach Franklin for anything that happens, good or bad, with the program. So that's
correct.
Something that they'll do that. Whereas at the defensive coordinator, he'll have to worry about it. And more than likely, I mean, I'm sure that Coach Pry will keep a lot of the coaches that are still there, and that's another thing when you look at that. He could keep a lot of the coaches that are on the defensive side of the ball, or Coach Franklin might say, hey, you might make changes here. But, the defense last year for Virginia Tech showed flashes. I think there are things that they were doing, but we'll see how it goes. And I think Coach Pry will do a good job.
He will. Well, JF, thanks, brother. I hope you have a great week. Stay safe, and we'll see you at the Glenver Highlanders can bring it home, man. We'll talk about all of it next week, and then we'll get into I want to get into this playoff situation with you, too, next week. So.
Hey, can I say something real?
Yeah.
Notre Dame. That's all I'm gonna say. But Notre Dame is like, look, well, we don't make it's kind of like Notre Dame in North Carolina men's basketball. When North Carolina said, "Hey, we're not going to the NIT," they said, "Well, we're good."
That's right.
And then Notre Dame, it's playoff or bust, and I get it. But to not go to a bowl game, and they have their rights, and they can do that. But that's to me, that's not a good look. But maybe Notre Dame isn't here. They're Notre Dame.
That's right.
Correct.
All right, man. Have a great week. Take care of yourself, brother.
You take care, sir. Thank you so much.
There you go. Great stuff there from Jermaine Ferrell. Coming up, Phil Elmassian just a little bit later in about 15 minutes, and then Todd Grantham. We're going to get all this stuff covered, and it's going to be awesome. But as we've been previewing right now, all right, get ready, J-Dub. Here we go. There she is. Joi Williams joining us on the program. Radford University guard, and Joi coming off an impressive 36-point performance in the double overtime win over Navy. How are you, Joi? Good morning.
I'm doing pretty good. Nice and early. Feeling good.
Nice and early. Well, you ready for this? By the way, when I brought this up with Coach McGuire, wanted to have you on. And first, you know what he said first thing?
No.
He said, "Oh, that'll be great. She loves to talk."
Yes, I've been getting over my camera shyness, though. So.
No, you look great. But thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. And first of all, congratulations. And if you would, talk about this team, because you've been around for a little while down at Radford. And the way you guys hung in, that's a really good Navy team. And it was so strange. I was hearing Coach break down the scoring and how it went from late in the third quarter to the double overtimes. What was it about that game? Because he said he would look in the huddle and you guys were never wavered. You just kind of felt like, okay, we're going to get this thing together. It's very unheard of to lose a 17-point lead like they did. You guys took that game from them.
Yeah, I don't think any of us really ever thought that we were out of the game, and I think that was kind of the consensus feeling like the whole time. It never really felt like we were down either. It just felt like they were hitting shots and we weren't. Maybe we had some things that we needed to correct, and then once we started hitting shots, I think it kind of motivated us a little bit more and more as we cut the lead more and more. So it was my first overtime win at Radford. So I do love this team. So I'm super, super excited. That game was super fun.
And you can speak about it. What do you see? What's the difference when this group came together with Coach McGuire and these young ladies who came in here? What do you see about this team that makes you realize you can go into any game and not feel like that it's going to be over?
Oh, I think it definitely starts with like our preparation. Our preparation is a little bit different this year. It's a little bit more intentional. And then just like our leadership, like we have 2 great seniors, which I don't think we've had necessarily in the past, who really care and really are about the team and helping out, keeping us motivated, keeping us locked in. So yeah, I think our leadership and just how we go about everything, practice day by day.
Joi Williams joining us on the program from Radford women's basketball, coming off of a huge double overtime win against Navy. And 36 points for you, career high for you. You got hot. Let me ask you now, when you get in a groove like that, when do you start to feel it? Does it take 1 shot, 2 shots? When did you start to know that you were going to be making shots that night and your offensive game was clicking?
I think I knew before the game. I think I was hitting shots a little bit during warm-ups, hitting a lot of shots during my shooting workouts. So I think I knew before the game, like this was going to be a good game. And I saw the first shot follow, and I always tell Coach McGuire, I was like, if one goes in, I have to shoot another. I'm gonna keep going until I miss. So I just kept testing my luck, and it kept working out for me.
All right, so take us through the possession. I mean, I've watched it I don't know how many times. Take us through the possession at the end of the first overtime. If people haven't seen it, you need to go find it. How far were you out, and what was going through your mind when you looked up and realized, I got to let this thing go?
So we drew up the play. Well, we didn't draw up the play. We ran a play that we already had, and I realized kind of right after, I was like, oh, they're going to let us score a layup. Obviously, we were down 3. They were going to let us score a layup. So I was like, I kind of went into panic mode, and I was just like, give me the ball. And, yeah, I kind of blacked out from there, and I just let it fly, and it went in.
Euphoria. And then you carried that momentum into the second overtime, and you took care of business. But that's a great point. See, and you do that, right? Your coaches talk about it. You've kind of got that coach's mentality out there, because you're right. They were trying to make sure you didn't shoot a 3. So you had to get that thing out of your hand.
Yeah.
So the Highlanders take this now, exam week. Take us through now. People are asking your major. What is your major, by the way?
I'm business management.
Oh, well, you're going to kill it. You're going to kill it.
Thank you.
But take us through what it's like now. You go through all these practices, being a student athlete, the true representation of a student athlete, and now you've got exams. What's it like this week knowing there's not really any basketball games to play, but you got to take care of business in the classroom?
It can be a little bit stressful at times, but I think just making sure that you have like good planning skills and stuff like that, knowing in advance exactly when things are aligned. And I think this week can actually allow you to, focus on other things a little bit more and kind of let go, knowing that your preparation before exam week was fine. And, hopefully that your exams aren't make or break for your grades. So I think that's just the best case scenario when it's like, it doesn't necessarily matter how well I do on this exam right now. And then with exam week, we don't have class schedules like every single day. We just have our one exam. So it allows practice schedule to become a little bit more easier. And they work with us and make sure it's easy on us. So yeah, it's not too bad.
And then I know coaches love this time of year, Joi, because after exams, you're just basketball players, right? You'll go away for the holidays, but then you'll come back and it's just basketball for a while. So that's got to be thrilling a little bit too.
Yeah, it is. It is, especially just we can do a little bit more extra workouts, like fine tuning some things, not necessarily just like practice and scout. So I do like this time of year.
Well, let's talk about your development. First of all, as a person and as a basketball player, since you got to Radford and started playing for Coach McGuire, what is it about his program that excites you, that made you want to come here, and that you continue to excel now as this team's building toward really great things as we get closer to the conference schedule?
Yeah. I think what kind of drew me to Coach McGuire was just how blunt he was. He was just very straightforward with me, and I appreciated that. Not every coach was. And, my recruitment was a little bit tough, but I think Coach McGuire was just like always there, always reaching out, and I really appreciated that. And then what was the second part of the question?
Well, look at yourself as you're coming out of high school, right? You had a lot
Yeah.
of options as a really good player, but now that you've gotten to Radford, how has this kind of helped you being around Radford University, the education, the people you've been around as you develop now into a young professional woman here very, very soon?
Yeah, I think just being in the program as a basketball player, it just like taught me the value of like hard work. I think Coach McGuire puts a big emphasis on just like working hard, which wasn't necessarily something I was used to doing. Like I would always work out and everything, but I always quote Coach McGuire, so I'm like you can see me being like a little bit more intentional with just everything I do and just like seeing the value in that. And I learned that from players that have been here before me and stuff like that who also learned that from just being in the program. So I think that was the biggest thing and which helped my growth, which was just like the value of hard work. And then just as a young lady, I think Coach McGuire challenges us every day to like be our best versions of ourselves and is always like tying in life lessons with basketball and everything. So yeah, in just situations like this where I can grow my professionalism and talk and just meet a lot of people, great connections. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're going to be great. You're going to be great at whatever you decide to do. Joi Williams joining us on the program, Radford Women's Basketball. And that can be kind of a turning the corner type of win, can it? I mean, that was a really good Navy team. I think they 8 or 9 wins. I mean, that's a good squad. How can you use that now, that momentum? You don't want to dwell on it, but you want to move forward, but you got to recapture what that meant to pull that game out.
Yeah, I think that game was kind of building off Cleveland State. Like, I know we ended up losing Cleveland State, so it was just like a we can do it type of thing. So I think that's the same mentality with the Navy game is we can do it. We can get it done. We can beat good teams, and we can come back. We can do hard things. So I think that was just like a realization moment and like kind of like okay, we're in it. We can compete for something bigger. We can do it. So I think that was good.
Well, so a lot of questions coming in for you on the text line too.
Okay.
Does Joi have any pregame rituals that she goes through? Any superstitions that she goes through?
Not much of superstitions. Earlier in the year, I was really big on like what undershirt I should wear. That was a little bit superstitious, but my pregame routine, I shoot a little bit before the like team warm up starts, and that's probably like the one thing that I do have that's very consistent. I do that every game.
Tina's asking, do you have a favorite pair of shoes or socks that you wear? This is great.
We have team shoes and we also have team socks. And luckily for me, I like them both a lot.
So you don't get the luxury of just picking out what you want like you see a lot, especially in the men's side of things. They just wear whatever they want.
Yeah. Well, we have a couple options for shoes. And yeah, I really enjoy my shoes. I'm not too flashy with shoes. I'm not really into shoes like that or anything, but our socks are very, very, very comfortable. I got such a funny question, but they really are so comfortable.
No, I get it. It's important. You're on your feet all the time, right? You got to have comfortable socks. I get it, 100%. All right. So now, Minnie here, favorite restaurant in Radford. What's your go-to when you're with the team or with your friends and you want to go hang out for some good food?
Ooh. I've had La Cabana the last 4 days in a row. So
okay.
Maybe right now La Cabana, but overall, probably Sharky's.
Okay.
I think I'm going to have to get Burger Monday tonight.
Yeah, why not? It's going to be snowy, though. Be careful. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad as the weather goes on. So, anywho. Well, listen, congratulations, Joi, on everything. We're thrilled like heck for you. There's a reason why you're named to the all-conference team, and I think this is going to be a really fun year for you guys, especially in conference play. And you know this as well as anybody, right? You got to get through the rest of December. Once that calendar changes, man, and Coach McGuire is so great about it, things change, doesn't it, in conference play?
Yes.
I mean, the intensity. Have you had to adjust to that? Because you hear about it, and then you realize the game, because nobody fools anybody. Everybody knows the team so well.
Yeah, I just think there's like a little bit more focus on like once it hits conference play, because we're competing now. We're competing for the real deal. Like you want to have good conference seating, and just being here for all the years, it just like it means a little bit more to beat a team in the conference. Just has a little bit more grit, has a little bit more edge.
Well, and you'll bring that. Your leadership will point that out. And hey, listen, thanks for coming on today. And
thank you. I'm glad to have been here.
You're great. And thanks for everything you represent. There's still hope out there for the student athlete and for what it's all supposed to be about. There's very few teams we have at Radford that has the academic history as well, right? With Coach McGuire making sure the young ladies get their degrees and have these wonderful grade point averages. So I'm glad to see that message is still fresh with your program and with young people like yourself. Thank you very much, Joi, for coming on.
Thank you.
Enjoy your week. Enjoy your day off, right? You didn't have an exam scheduled today, did you?
No, my exams are online.
Okay, good. So you got it made. You don't have to leave the house unless you want to go eat. So,
well, we have practice.
You do have practice. That's right. That's right. All right, J-Dub. We'll see you around Devon. Stay safe.
Right. Thank you.
All right. Be good. Thank you. Thank you. There you go. Joi Williams, everybody. How about that? I told you you would like that. Great stuff from Joi. That gives you hope right there. You talk to a young person like that with everything going on. We cover it here all the time, all the crap that's out there in college athletics. And then you get that young lady, right? And that team and that win. And that just makes it all, you come back. You come back to it. By the way, I want to take the time, Prometheus, I'm so sorry. I just caught up on the messages. I am so sorry that you have to put your dog down today. Sorry, brother. We're thinking about you. 16 years old. So sorry. Yeah, getting a lot of comments. Told you you'd enjoy Joi. She's great. Best of luck to her and that team. Phil Elmassian joins us here in just a little bit. We're going to get into the nitty-gritty about a lot of things. He'll talk about what happened against for UVA. And he's going to talk about how he sees this thing in the future, the reaction in Notre Dame, all of it. And then Todd Grantham, who has a lot of opinions about all these things. As we just keep rambling on here, man. We got a lot going on. I told you today was loaded for bear. I told you Reaction Monday today was special. You don't want to miss it. Subscribe, like, and share. I want to thank all of our sponsors, the Ready Set Fund, Professional Door Incorporated, National Bank, member FDIC, the attorney Ryan Pry in Radford, 701 West Main Street. You give him a lot of credit. He was the first one that sent me a message. He said, looks like it's going to be Matt Campbell. He grew up right there around Happy Valley. Little River Heating and Air, Charles Lee, the best. We're presented every day by Pulaski County Sports Entertainment. Our McClellan Chiropractic chat room, always popping, as is our Professional Door Incorporated text line. Family Fencing, sponsor of our studio. Lawson's Mobile Home Supply, the NRV Super Bowl, Harvey's Gym in Radford, and Top Shelf Apparel. We keep it rolling from one awesome guest to the next. Thanks to Joi Williams, thanks to Jermaine Ferrell, and thanks to this gentleman, the coach, Phil Elmassian. What's up, Coach Elmo? Good morning.
Good morning, Rick. Appreciate it. Y'all have weather up there, huh?
Yeah, it's going to get pretty bad. It's the snow, unfortunately, is starting to fall. So I can see it outside the door here. So it's going to get pretty bad today, I think. So.
I remember the thing I couldn't stand the most in Blacksburg were the ice storms.
Yes. Yes.
I could deal with the snow, but the ice, I don't care what you drive.
You can't get, yeah, exactly. You're done. You're done. You're done. Oh, man, we got a lot going on, Coach. First of all, UVA had it right there in front of them. And I know you've been following that team. And I don't know. I have a very untrained eye as opposed to somebody like you, but it looked like they were ready to play. It looked like Duke came out and just let it all kind of hang out there. And Virginia kind of played tight. What'd you think?
Here's what, before the game, my thoughts were, I was looking at the Duke team, and offensively, statistically in the conference games, Duke was right up there with Virginia. They're both in most of the statistics that, like I've always said, can determine the outcome of a game. Offensively, Duke and Virginia, a lot of similarities. defensively, there were discrepancies, big discrepancies. UVA's defense way more productive consistently throughout the year as opposed to Duke's. And you look at the last game they played in. Now, what happens is, if you're at Duke as a coach, your challenge is, hey, we've got to outperform UVA's defense because they're going to make plays. And when they make their plays, we got to stay up with it. Offenses are going to negate themselves. Penalties, turnovers, missed assignments for the most part. But defensively, because I know when we used to play the great Miami teams back in the early 90s, both at Syracuse and Virginia Tech, we had to play great defense to stay with them because their defenses were so good. They were off the charts good. And the same thing with the Michigan teams and the Southern Cal teams and Oklahoma teams that I was able to misfortune to coach against. Your defense had to outperform their defense to give you a chance to stay in that game. And that's what happened. Duke's defense outperformed Virginia's defense when it was all said and done. Because you look at the offenses in both teams, Duke had 20 hard-earned points. It's 20-10, but they're earned. It's not like it's a giveaway or a blowout, and then all of a sudden it turns into an overtime game. So, you look, first of all, the number one big statistic, like I said, the rush stats, pass stats are so skewed in the NCAA because of the sacks going into the run game.
Yeah.
But the thing I look at is rushing attempts. And anytime you're at the 40-plus rushing attempts, you're probably winning the game. And Duke had 44 rushing attempts as opposed to Virginia's 29. And that's usually, when you look at all the wins and losses, the team that has the more rushing attempts usually is going to turn out in the winning column way over 65, 70% of the time. It's a pretty solid statistic you can rely on with consistency. Then the other thing is, they didn't allow any explosives. The longest run that Virginia had was 19 yards, and the longest pass was 29. And so they had no explosive plays. And you limit the explosive plays as you look, even NFL or college, it's all about the quick scores that all of a sudden that put you in the 2 touchdown leads.
Yeah, right.
Things of that nature. So I'm just talking about Duke's defense. They had 9 quarterback hurries in the game. 9. That's a lot.
That is,
and basically 1 out of every 4 to 5 passes, they had an effect on the quarterback. Coach Grantham he was the one that taught me the fact that his goal back in the day was 1 out of every 6 passes. We got to affect the quarterback, move him from the spot, affect his arm, throwing broken up passes at the line of scrimmage, the sack, but for the most part, affect the quarterback. And then they did that. They did a great job of that. A great job of affecting the quarterback. And they had 2 interceptions, and especially the one in the overtime. And then the third down efficiencies, they won the third down battle, and that was their weaknesses, especially on defense. They were horrendous on third down, and that flipped it. And all of a sudden, Virginia's outstanding on third down defensive conversions. And, Duke was at 63, Virginia was at 54. And that's the game. That's the game. When you look at those are the things you can ask me about next week's games, the week game after that. That's all I'll go over. And most of the time, you win the battles, quarterback hurries or explosives and third downs and rushing attempts. You got a chance. You got a great chance of winning the game, keeping the points where they need to be. So it was too bad. Screwed up everything. I tell you what, Duke screwed the whole thing up. Notre Dame not only out of the 12 playing game, they ain't going to a bowl.
No. we got to get into that. And I want to ask you real quick, Brent Pry coming back as the defensive coordinator. It's unprecedented in the same calendar year to lose the head coaching job and then come back for the next coach who just happened to be his mentor.
Listen, the way I looked at that and I go, well, just it's college football today. I mean, what else is going to shock you? What else is going to be like?
Nothing.
Really? Because I'm on Greg Roberts' show on the radio Thursday because he wanted to talk about some of the prospects at Virginia and Virginia Tech. I know I sent them couple of the evals I did. And we were talking and it came up about Brent Pry's DC hire. And Chuck Baker, Haley Toyota, is always on the show on Thursday. Great guy. I'm sure you know Chuck.
Yeah, I know Chuck.
Wonderful human being. So I said, and I had been told from a really reliable coach, I'm not going to call a source, a coach, that said Poindexter will be the DC at Virginia Tech. That's what the conversation was. And so I really, not a matter of trusting the coach, but I trusted the coach. And so I make the statement, hey, no way, Poindexter will be the DC. I hate it when I'm wrong, but I still think if Poindexter's not retained up there, I do believe you'll see him in Blacksburg unless he can jump on wherever he thinks best for him. If you're out of a job, your goal is to stay employed.
I think that was the plan, though, Coach. I think what I heard, he turned that down late. That's why they he kind of reshuffled things to Pry. I think
who turned it down?
Poindexter. I think he was the plan. I believe I had some people hint at that I know over there. I don't know what I can't say that's true, but I'm just saying it makes a little more sense if that is true.
Here's the deal: if it whether it's true or not, and I still think that was probably part. I wouldn't say that was out of the question. I'm sure, I don't know if they had any conversation. I'd be really surprised if Coach Franklin all of a sudden gets the job and they're talking on, because the conversation between Brent and Coach Franklin are going to be extensive about the job. Well, I'm not so sure that conversation. Oh, by the way, if I take this, you can stay as coordinator. I'd be shocked if that conversation went on. I do think.
Me too.
After the recruiting, after all the dust was settled, because it takes a lot from Brent to take the job. I remember when Coach Beamer offered me the job at Virginia Tech when we had gotten fired, and I wasn't going to. And I was out of a job, and I wasn't going to take it. I could not anything against Virginia Tech. The people, it just hurt. It hurt. We had done everything. We won 10 games, beat NC State in the Peach Bowl, and I was hurt. And I said, no, I'm out of here, and wouldn't take the job. And so for Brent to take the job, it speaks volumes now. I mean, that's not an easy thing, I don't think. So I'm happy for him. I hope he'll keep J.C. Price. At least, it looks like to me, whatever Brent wants to do with the staff defensively, he'll probably have a say in it. So maybe he'll get to keep, I'm really biased towards JC because he played for me, but hope he'll get to keep JC and maybe Poindexter will come down and join him. I've heard Poindexter. I don't know, but everything I've heard about him, they say he is a great, great coach. So we'll see how it works out.
Well, you mentioned Notre Dame, the playoff. Your thoughts?
Irish.
The Irish left out.
Join the conference, baby. You better join the conference. But they, as long as they got the NBC contract, they don't have to share the revenue with anybody. As long as that's a part of it, that contract's done away with. They'll be in a conference. They got no choice. But as long as they got the NBC contract, they can stick their tongue out at everybody because they share with nobody. That what extra millions, 30, whatever that is, it goes right into the pocket.
Right.
And hey, nobody understands the business of education and athletics better than a Catholic priest. Trust me.
That's true. That's very, very true. Did they get it right? Did they get the field right? I'm so happy.
You know what? So happy. Yes and no. I mean, the sad part is, we got to expand. Oh, we got to expand. Next thing, every year you got to expand the team. Might as well just have everybody play. But, and this is the old participation trophy. No, listen, there's only so many teams in the country. I'll say this. Let me go digress a little bit. Indiana beating Ohio State. Here's the thing that people don't appreciate. Maybe Todd will have a say in this too. I'd just love to hear his perspective. I know this, and by being in the Big Ten, as good a teams as Wisconsin, we had back-to-back Rose Bowls and Big Ten championships, and we beat Ohio State 42-17 in the horseshoe.
Right.
We never beat them in recruiting. There's not one kid on our football team that was offered a scholarship at Ohio State. Not one.
Right. Not one.
And I will say the same thing about Indiana. I would venture to say that out of the 22 starters, maybe 2 of them would have been offered at Ohio State. Maybe. To me, that's how I look at the significance of the win. I get Indiana in the past, the records and the losing records. But the thing that I appreciate the most is now he has changed the Indiana body of work in terms of talent, without a doubt. You can see especially the O-line and the defense. However, they just beat probably the most talented football team in the country, recruiting-wise. Way more talented than Michigan. And they did it with their defense. Again, their defense outperformed Ohio State's defense.
They did.
The Virginia Duke game and the Indiana-Ohio State game had a lot of similarities from that perspective, because that was the challenge I know I would always bring to the players when we were playing Miami, or if we were going to go play Ohio State. Hey, we got to outperform their defense, because they're going to make their plays, and we got to counter it to stay in this game and let the offense's chips fall where they may. So, but the bowl thing's a little bit of a mess, Rick. The teams are opting out now, which is crazy.
Systems fall apart. Yeah,
the coaches are opting out, and the players, that hasn't even begun yet. Wait till the players start opting out this week, which they will. They're going.
It'll be a lot. Yeah.
The bowl, it's really sad. You know what I feel sad for? Those bowl people. I've been involved in 18 bowls in my career. Okay.
Wow.
18. I went to 18 bowls when I was involved in about 30 which you now call Power 4 schools. I was involved in 18 bowls. The only major one I didn't get to was the orange, the sugar, the rose, fiesta, cotton, And let me tell you, those people in the bowl sites, they work so hard to make it a great experience for the players. They really do. They go way above and beyond. And just the genuine hospitality and the efforts that the community and the people put in for the bowls, which is not even talked about. That's what I feel bad for some of these people when the Notre Dame decides we're not going. You talk about disappointment to that bowl committee, the community, because the revenue that would be brought into that community is awesome. And they go out of their way to make it a great experience for the staff, the families, and the players. And that's what I have a big problem with.
Well, I've been saving it because you had a great breakdown. I think you and I talked about a week and a half ago and how you see the future of this thing and who's really going to control it. So I didn't want to steal your thunder, but
they'll never do this.
I was like, man, he's right. This is exactly what's going to happen.
Well, this will never happen. But really,
I don't know.
I know Todd, and the reason why I just love Todd Grantham, but I can't get enough of Todd. He is so damn smart, and that's why he was my lifeblood at Virginia Tech, and he always educated me on what's going on now. That the number one issue that I know, and I've known this. And I keep hearing the pundits talk about things have got to change. It's got to change. This can't sustain. Well, not as the NCAA has control of it, because they're going to get whatever you think they need to do. the portal, do away with it. More time, less time, this date, that date. They're going to get sued.
Yeah.
A player is going to sue the NCAA, and the NCAA is going to lose. They've lost every lawsuit, and that's why nothing can change. They can't change. It's the genie's out of the box. They can't put it in the box, not because they don't want to. They can't because of the lawsuits. That's the problem. Diego Pavia gets an extra year. Why? He's going to sue the NCAA. You can't tell me I can't have an extra year. He went to junior college. They want that year back from the junior college, and he won. Yeah,
right.
Those basketball players come from the European League. If they don't let them in, they're going to get sued. Why? I ain't been to college.
Right.
Why can't I play? Why can't I? Well, you're going to deny me my college education?
That's right.
Oh, no. We're taking this to court.
That's right.
So in order to that to stop, and I think Todd will put it in a much better perspective than I would, is they've got to have they got to treat the players like the employees. They have to be employees of the university. They have to, if you're going to stop the lawsuits. And then you get the collective bargaining, the Players Association. So now there's no more lawsuits. Then you have to have a commissioner of all this, and here are the rules. And you're going to have the Players Association. It's the NFL. Think about it. And I think Todd can go into that way deeper than I can. And it makes sense to me if you want to change things for the betterment of what's better for coaches and players from that perspective. You're going to need a commissioner, and just like the presidents are going to be the owners of each of the teams. And I broke it down, Rick. If you really look and you take the SEC, ACC, Big Ten, and the Big 12, okay? And that's it. There's 60. See, Notre Dame's the odd one out, but that's 64 teams. Okay, of all the and I mixed and matched some of the conferences on this thing, but you got to look at it. So you sit there and go, okay, I need the National Collegiate Football Conference, like the NFC, which may be right. Well, that'll be ESPN. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Just like the football, you got CBS and you got Fox. Well, now you got ESPN and Fox. Okay. And then basically you got to go east and west and north and south, just like the divisions in the NFL. Okay. Each division in the NFC's got an east, west, north, and south. Now they only got 32 teams to deal with. Okay. So there's 14 breakdowns. Well, this would be an 8-team breakdown. If you take let's just take the SEC, for example. Let's just take the East by demographics. Okay. You got 8 teams. All right. The 12th game I'd do away with. You got to go back to 11 games. So you got 2 out of conference games. You can go into whatever you want to do with the 2 out of conference. You can go schedule a group of 5 team if you want, to help them, give them money and support the group of 5 if you feel that way. Okay. But you'll have 8 teams. And so let's say in the East, in the East of the National Collegiate Football Conference, I'm going to have Florida, Auburn, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Mississippi State, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Texas A&M. Okay? That's your Eastern schools. Whether it's not necessarily closer to the Atlantic, but East and West based on where you are in the state. If you're in the eastern part of the state or the western part of the state. Yeah. So, all right. So that gives you your East. Now your West teams would be Alabama, Arkansas, LSU, Missouri, Mississippi, Oklahoma, Texas, and Vanderbilt. That's it. You got 8 teams. Then you're going to have your conference who's the champion of the East. Who's the champion of the West? That's a no-brainer. Who's got the better record? Okay. And then you'll have the wild card. So basically, you would take the top 4 of those 2 East-West conferences. Let's say it'd be Auburn and Florida for the East and Alabama and Arkansas by alphabetical order for the West. Okay? All right? The second place teams are the wild card games. Okay? they're going to play each other. The 2 second place teams.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, then they're going to play the first place team, and then you got the champion. Okay? And you could do the same with the ACC. Now, what I did is I said the ACC, I'm adding Cincinnati and West Virginia to the ACC. Okay? And now the ACC would be Boston College, Cincinnati, Louisville, Pitt, Syracuse. It's the old combination Big East ACC.
Sure.
There's 8 teams. Same thing. Without going over all the teams, the bottom line, I sent you the picture. I don't know.
Yeah, it was great.
But the bottom line is you're looking at 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 team playoff is what you got. That's how you get your 16 team playoff. Okay. You got to go east, west, north, and south. Then the American Football Conference is basically the Big 10 and the Big 12. East and west in both areas.
Sure.
18 divisions. Take the Big 10 teams, Indiana, Maryland, Michigan, Michigan State, Northwestern, Ohio State, Penn State, Purdue, and Rutgers. And then the West would be Illinois, Iowa, blah, 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 Minnesota. And basically it's all the Big 10 teams. And then you got a 16 team playoff. You cut and dry. It's,
you should be the commissioner of all things.
Well, you know what? It's not going to happen. If that'll never happen. I don't think it'll ever happen, but it's what should happen because you'll never, they don't, you want the college game is always trying to never be like the NFL. I mean, think of the hash marks. They finally moved them in, but they never moved them into the NFL.
That's right.
Okay. Look at the kickoff. They've always tried to, they won't even call it the 2-minute warning.
2-minute timeout.
So the NCAA is always trying to set, they can't anymore. These players are getting paid. They are getting paid. You can go into a program and go through the portal and NIL money and go buy yourself a football team.
That's right.
What's the difference with that in the NFL?
None.
Between free agency. Now, the only difference is there's no salary cap. That's another thing would be put in place if you had a collective, if you had them as employees, you have a salary cap now.
Well, who's going to regulate this? Because you just said it, Coach. They're going to lose every lawsuit. There's nobody capable at the NCAA level. None of those people who've let all this happen can all of a sudden try to enforce it. You're right. If the cap doesn't come, it's going to continue just to be a free-for-all. It's going to collapse. The system's absolutely going to collapse.
It cannot sustain itself. It will not sustain itself, I don't think. And you know what? And if you're Ohio State, you could care less. If it stays the same, I'm good with that.
Yep.
They have 60,000, 50,000 students in their graduating class of 10,000. I think out of that 10,000, there's a lot of Buckeye fans, and they're going to go make some money someday. And so you got a school like Wake Forest, they got no chance. Zero with a 6,000 populated student body. Zero. You get to those Big Ten teams that are 40,000 students, 50,000 students.
Yeah.
And majoring in everything. You got, engineering, medical school, law schools, this, that. Well, they got some graduates going to make some coin that will really enjoy going to those football games.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
And that's
it's a
what
mess.
it's come down to.
It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. Well, I like your system. I think we should all just implement Coach Elmo's system immediately, and we'll all be a lot better off.
It makes sense to me. Really, all you got to do is take the SEC, the ACC, the Big 10, and the Big 12, and you got to add a couple, and you got to delete a couple. There's some schools like, you're looking at Oregon State, Washington State. You can put them in there, but I don't know, But I think 64 is the magic number. And I've always thought that. There's just 64 high-stakes poker. And if you can't get in that table, you can't get a seat at the table, you're out. So it goes to 62. Or you eliminate 8 teams from those conferences. So it goes down to 56. But 64 would be the right number, I think. You got an 8-team division in both East, West, North, and South in the two different conferences. And then the Big Ten plays the Big 12 for a championship, and then the SEC and the ACC play for a championship, and then whoever wins that goes to the national championship. And you got to do away with the bowls, or you keep the bowls. But okay, you got 16 teams in, so you do your brackets. Then you assign a bowl to each one of them, and that's it.
There you go. Yeah, let the bowl be part of the whole thing. Let the crappy bowl
part
it
of the
is.
championship run. Okay, then no one's opting out. That's players or coaches. No one's opting out.
Have that in the contract.
And,
as employees. Right.
Like here, what I would do is, as long as that bowl season's going on, the teams that aren't in bowls, if they want to practice, because here's the thing with bowls, there's no rules on, at least they weren't when I was there, there were no rules on bowl practice amount of time.
No.
You could, there wasn't, you only got so many hours with them, you only got so many contact with, there are no rules. That's why when you don't go to a bowl, let me tell you, when you don't go to a bowl, your bowl practices are huge improvements for your younger kids. Huge. Because it's not like spring practice where it becomes a drudgery. Bowl practice is fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. Coach's different demeanor. I had a whole different, my happiest time coaching was the bowl games. I was miserable during the season. I handled the losing a lot better than I did the winning. And I'm just telling you, Todd will tell you, I was a miserable, miserable human being during the season. But bowl practice, I was happy Jack, son of a gun now. I'm telling you, it was the greatest time of my life. And I think that's what you got to do. You can go to 16 teams, but you got to have it where, we have a legitimate champion. You got the champions of the East, West divisions, North, South, and then you got the wild cards.
Yeah.
And let's go play.
That's right.
And no one can bitch and piss and moan.
That's right. You gonna be on Greg later today? You gonna be on Greg's show?
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. If he'll have me, I don't know.
Yeah, he'll have.
I'll tell you what, I did the recruiting thing for him Thursday. I'll say this, Rick, UVA and Tech, I'll say this, of the Virginia kids, and I just did the Virginia kids. Of the Virginia kids, there were top three in both schools that I call them SEC guys. They could play for anybody. Both schools got three guys that my eyes that I saw could play for anybody in the country. Both of them. The top three.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm good. Take care.
Coach, thank you, man. Sorry, I kind of my camera went out for a little while. But hey, listen, thanks for everything. And we may have to grab you later in the week, too. There's so much stuff going on.
Just send me a text, Like I said, I'm just like my old golden retriever. Nice to be wanted.
Absolutely. No, you're great, man. Thanks, Coach. We appreciate you,
You're
brother.
welcome. Take care.
You're great.
Say hi to Todd for me.
I will say hi to Todd. Definitely. Great stuff. I'm back now. Okay, we're good. Yeah. Oh, I'd love that, Wayne. Yeah. Me and Greg do a show. Yeah, I'd love that. Greg's great. Greg Roberts does a great job. Greg Roberts Live's been on for a long, long time down in Roanoke. Does a great job. Great job. He was at Channel 10 for a long time and realized he was way ahead of the curve. He just took his own thing and bought it. Said, you know what? I'm doing it myself. So he's been doing it a long time. Greg is very good at what he does. Very, very good at what he does. So check him out. If you're down in that area, listen to him and Coach this afternoon. Greg Roberts Live. Good stuff. Man, we're rocking and rolling. Yeah, snow's coming down pretty hard. I'm internally struggling. I hate it. It's here. It's not going away. Good morning, Rodney. How are you? Thanks to Jermaine. Thanks to Joi Williams. Thanks for all the great comments I'm getting, by the way, especially on the text line about Joi. She was great. And Coach Elmo. From one great coach to the next, there he is. Todd Grantham joining us, the coach. What's up, brother? Good morning. How are you?
What's up, buddy? So it's snowing there in
Yeah, and it's supposed to be pretty bad today. We'll see. They're saying 3 to 5 inches here. So I don't like that at all.
You can have that stuff, man. I'm too old for that snow, man.
I know.
So, hey, that's how you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. We got you.
I said that's how you hurt yourself is shoveling those driveways, man. That's
yeah, that's what I did last Friday. All right, man. Where do we start? I guess let's start with Brent Pry going back to Tech as defensive coordinator. What's some of your thoughts about that?
Well, I think that when you watch Franklin, there's going to be a certain comfort level with people he's going to surround himself with. He wants to make sure he's comfortable with the people that are around him and that he doesn't deviate from his style to run a program. And he felt comfortable with him. So I think there's an obvious thing there. And he had success with him at Penn State. Brent's really too young to retire. So it kind of gives him a landing spot to, do what he enjoys, which is coaching defense, from that standpoint. One thing that's interesting about it is, like, for example, when I worked for Nick Saban, Nick was a defensive coach. Okay. Well, structurally, how we game planned, how we recruited, the kind of players we had, all came from the head coach. So that was his deal because that's where his expertise went. Well, when I was with offensive guys like Dan Mullen, Bobby Petrino, Mark Richt, I was really the head coach of the defense. So I kind of did everything systematically, game plan. Now in recruiting, it kind of depended upon who the head coach was. I mean, Petrino, he's going to take 5 extra wideouts and send you the guys that can't play. And right. Dan was more about, hey, we're going to get defensive players. So that part of it would change. They've not been very good this year on defense, and they've really regressed over the years. And really, that's where your expertise is, from the size of the players up front to the way you're structured and those kind of things. But really, I think what Franklin is saying is, hey, I can manage that because my expertise is recruiting. I know the kind of players that I want to have to be successful. You just get them ready to play, and I really think that's what it's come down to. Is there's a comfort level with each other. He knows that he can manage. Franklin, I'm saying, can manage maybe the issues that he sees within the defense, and he can do those things and let Brent do what he enjoys to do, which is basically coach defense from that standpoint.
And it's kind of unprecedented to lose your job as the head coach in the same calendar year, be rehired by the coach that replaced you. But it is a unique situation because that coach happens to be the guy who mentored you.
Well, the thing about it is the administration's got to be happy because it's going to save them some money. So now basically they're paying themselves through the buyout. I mean, so you're not, basically his contract would be mitigated based upon the job he gets. So basically Virginia Tech's paying themselves. With this whole deal, they'll pay a coordinator's salary, which is basically mitigated from what they had to pay as the head coach. And basically Virginia Tech's paying themselves. I don't know how complicated that'll be. It'll go in a big circle, but at the end of the day, Virginia Tech's going to save a little money on the salary.
Yeah, that's a great point. Great point. For all the hemming and hawing, Penn State ended up with a pretty good coach, didn't they? I don't know. Talk about the process separately, but Matt Campbell going to Happy Valley, I guess 8 years in Ames, Iowa was enough.
Yeah, I think he did a really good job in the Big 12. I think that he's a really good coach. He gets a lot out of his players, meaning there's a certain style that he's had to play with relative to the talent he's had. Now, adjustment, meaning he's going to have more explosive guys, both offensively and defensively, so you can tweak your system a little bit. Because that's how you win these big games, because everybody's so evenly matched. When you go back and look at teams that win championships, your ability to create explosive plays and your ability to eliminate explosive plays, that's one key factor. And I think that at Penn State, with the kind of players he's going to have, he'll have the ability to create more explosive plays. And look, they did a wide search. I mean, there's no doubt, from the people that I know, that they really didn't plan on doing this with Franklin until it happened, and it had to come about. And they were talking to a lot of people. They were talking to some NFL people, and I think they made the right choice because the NFL is different. I mean, Like, for example, Brian Dable was a guy. Now, Brian's a little different in the sense he was at Bama with Nick, so he saw the process and all that kind of stuff. But if you were to go get, like, say, like Andy Reid, well, Andy has no idea about recruiting, the portal, and all that. Not that he couldn't figure it out, just like Belichick will figure it out because they're smart people. But, I mean, their experiences aren't in that. So I think at the end of the day, they made a solid hire. Penn State's Penn State. They're gonna be fine moving forward, and it'll be good for college football.
Yeah, 100%. It's 100%. And I kept reminding people, they survived all the Sandusky mess, and Bill O'Brien was able to keep that train running. They're going to be fine in one recruiting class that may not be what they're used to.
That's right. Yeah, Bill did a great job there because he really was the guy that went there first. And what happened is Bill did such a great job is when the Texans job came open, they actually made him head coach, general manager. And he went to the Houston Texans and had the thing pretty much set up for success with what he had done over the first 2 years. So Bill did a really good job there.
He did. He really did. All right. So here we are now, the playoff. Man, I tell you, you sent me that Dellinger tweet about Notre Dame next year, and now they've quit. They're not going to play. I mean, what's your take on all this with the playoff? And I know you have an interesting your mind. I agree with what you said with Tulane and JMU both getting in. That's not what the networks or advertisers were counting on when they joined the playoff.
Well, first off, I think I said it before. Mike Leach was right on committees. Okay, he was 100% correct. Now, since it's a podcast, I guess I can say it. I think it's a bunch of bullshit. I mean, I could have went to any restaurant or bar down in Radford. I could have went to BT's. I could have went to freaking McAdoo, Sharky's. I could have picked 10 drunks, and we could have came up with a better system than we got right now, and it'd been a lot less expensive. I mean, it's kind of like today, like, remember back when Mike Holmgren was talking about, if I go into a bar and some drunk can tell me it's a catch in the NFL, it's a catch. Remember it was all about the ball hit? Well, this is the same kind of thing. And look, at the end of the day, the issue is the committee and the NCAA try to be too inclusive. It's all about inclusivity, okay? Which I understand that. To just play more games. I mean, because you've taken Tulane, which I got a lot of respect for their program and Coach Summerall. I know him. But at the end of the day, they got beat by Ole Miss 45-10. So now you have a rematch of that. And then I know people close that watch this show, JMU's close, so there's a pride thing there.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they played one Power 4 team in Louisville and lost by 14 points. And how can you say that either one of those teams is better equipped to give you a championship run or a competitive game than Notre Dame, Texas, or Vanderbilt? And they can't. So, and if you really think about the whole thing, I mean, you're playing championship games, and the team that is in the championship that loses is going to have to go play a team that's on a bye in the playoffs. So, I mean, the whole thing is jacked up. So the simplest thing to do is just make playing games and make everybody play bowl that week as far as bowl week. Okay. But the system that we know now is not going to be there next year. I mean, it can't be. I mean, because in essence, right now, what you've done is you've really given Oregon and Ole Miss buys into the next round. I mean, that's really what they have. So I think that I get the whole, Cinderella thing. And I think that's good. Just make it more teams. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it needs to be decided on the field, because with what they've done right now is they've eliminated, the conference games. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I mean, Duke should be in it. You should have a way that you set it up to where your conference means something. And Duke should be in it. You won your conference. I mean, like when we were in the Roanoke Valley District, well, we weren't going to the region unless we won the district.
Right.
So, I mean, how can you bypass that? Now, and everybody says, well, Miami's higher. Well, if your commissioner of your conference is stupid enough to have a tiebreaker system that is going to allow that to happen the way it happened, then that's y'all's fault. Okay. Because at the end of the day, that should have been thought out better. And all they had to do is say that the two teams that have the best chance to make the playoffs are the ones that are playing. I mean, that's a simple fix right there that it took me and you 30 seconds just now to figure it out. So, I just, but at the end of the day, they could have had games. If you just think about as jacked up as it is right now, you could have had the play-in games this past weekend of the teams that we're all talking about and eliminated them. Okay. And then everybody else will be playing this week. So you could have simply have done that. Okay. But at the end of the day, there's too many schools in each conference, because what happens is you're not playing everybody in your conference. So that is the first thing that needs to be addressed. I mean, like, and I know they don't want to go to the whole National Football League thing. They don't want, just like a 2-minute warning, where they don't call it a 2-minute warning, they call it a 2-minute timeout. Well, it's a 2-minute warning. There's 2 minutes left in the game. I mean, and so you have something in front of you from the National Football League that has been through this. So in other words, even if within your conference, you can divide those conferences up and eliminate a game or extend the season, and you have to play, playoffs within your conference to get to the championship. I mean, there's so many things you can do. And the bowl system that we know now is done. And the reason is, and I said this a long time ago, when you start talking about the playoffs, it's going to all become about the playoffs. That's one of the greatest jobs that I thought Nick did in my time with him at Bama is, we got hosed and TCU got in and played Georgia. And then we went to the Sugar Bowl and rolled Kansas State, and he got Bryce Young and Will Anderson to play in that game. And now the deal was with Will is we could only play him on third down, but I mean, nobody knew that, and he was there, so that made it important to the other guys. Well, that's gone now. The bowl system, the way we've done it, is gone because everything's now about the playoffs, and the players have already gotten paid their money. It's not a part of the playoffs right now, so contractually, that's got to change if you're going to do that. But really, the best thing to do with the bowl games, and being from where you are, the people there would understand it. Treat it like NASCAR. Have the bowl games at the beginning of the season. I mean, move the bowl games to the beginning of the season, and that's when you play your cross rivals. That's when you play your out-of-conference games, and it becomes a big deal. And the bowl games are at the beginning of the season instead at the end of the season. And that way, that can be another challenge or another way to look at the best teams in the country because they ended up playing each other a little bit. So you're not going to have the bowl games the way they are right now. So my whole thing is if rather than getting rid of them, because the people at the bowls do a lot of work, and it is important to those communities, and they do make money on it, and they are enjoyable. Like the funnest time I remember when Virginia Tech, like when Phil was there, and we kind of changed, we changed culture, system, and all that, and we went to the Independence Bowl. I mean, that was like one of the greatest times of my life. We went to Independence Bowl and beat Indiana. But it was the Independence Bowl. Well, now you're not getting guys to go to the Independence Bowl. So my point is just move it to the beginning of the season and make it, an exciting time. You're opening the season. It allows those areas of the country to still get the money that they can get from a tourist stamp thing, and it allows you to get some TV games between, people you're playing opposite, the ACC can play kind of like they do in basketball. ACC plays Big Ten, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I think they got a lot of work to do before next year and see what we can get done. But obviously what we're doing right now is not working. And it's really a shame because, I mean, if you really think about it, there's a lot of teams like Ohio State's the best team in college football talent wise, but they didn't win the game and their quarterback didn't play. And what's interesting about that is if you watched on the sidelines, like I'm a big, like, how do they call the plays and kind of thing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you watch that.
And Ryan Day was actually started calling plays the second half. And, I think that like when a coordinator takes a head coaching job, it's just human nature that your interest or your thought process or the and now, the coordinator at Ohio State offensively, he took the head job at South Florida. So now he's worried about his staff. He's worried about next year. So that's taking some of his time. Well, that time before was being, given to the game plan.
Yeah.
And now I know that they said the other day that as of right now, everything would stay the same. But in that game, on Saturday, Ryan Day started calling plays in the second half or making suggestions. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But if you just watch it, I mean, the players or the quality of players. I mean, Ohio State's really talented. Their quarterback is just not quite good enough to overcome the situation they were in. And it'll be interesting to see how it plays out over the next little bit. But, the only thing with the SEC is everybody, talks about the SEC bias. The SEC is the best conference in college football. I mean, they have more players drafted to the National Football League than anybody else. It's kind of like land on water. There's only so much lakefront property, right? Well, there's only so many big people in the world, okay? And most of those big people go to the SEC. And and really that's because of the salaries right now. I mean, if you look at the money that's being, and it's been that way for 10 plus years. But here's what I say about that is that's like in the day, like when I was with the Colts, and this was back when they had the old AFC, and it was like Miami, Indianapolis, the Jets, the Patriots. Well, I was there during that time frame, and like every one of us made the playoffs. I mean, and then you had Tampa Bay that went at that time. I think it was 7-9 or 8-9, but they hosted a game. Well, that was their conference. So I just think that you have your conferences, and you got to win your conference or have just like Texas. Like nobody talks about it, but at the end of the day, Texas and Oklahoma both went 6-2 in the SEC, and Texas beat Oklahoma head to head. So in reality, Texas is ranked ahead of Oklahoma in the SEC rankings, but they're not even talked about in the playoffs like Oklahoma is. But in my opinion, Texas is a better team than Oklahoma. But that doesn't even come to mention just because, it's the whole they have 3 losses kind of thing. And that's going to have to change everybody's mindset, because next year, the SEC is going to go to 9 games. Okay. So what that means is there's going to be 8 more losses in the conference. So you're going to get a 6-3 conference team. Okay. Well, they're 6-3, and then you have a team in the Big 12 or the ACC that only has 1 loss, but we're going to put them in the conference ahead of them. Well, they're not a better team, so I think they got to figure all that out. And I do think that you should play more conference games, but I think that you're going to see a couple teams over the next few months. They're going to get out of playing these hard games, meaning I doubt that Ohio State goes to Texas next year. I mean, why would you go? It doesn't help you, because Ohio State beat Texas 14-7, and at the end of the day, the difference in Texas being in the the playoffs and not is that game, because they lost to Texas 14-7, and Oklahoma beat a Michigan team at home. So I mean, I think there's just so many things they got to work on and get fixed that they just need to hire me and you, and we'd get it done.
Well, you anyway. You got to great. You think 16 teams at the very is going to go right to 16 next year?
I don't.
Already?
I mean, what the only issue with that is when you get to 16, it's going to go to 20. So I'm just saying that they are where they are right now. Okay. So if you just look at right now, why do the teams that aren't in the championship game, why do they get buys? I mean, why do you get a bye? Because you're going to get a bye. Like Oklahoma got a bye, and now Alabama's got to go play them. I mean, how is that fair? In the realm of things. So if you weren't in a championship game, then I think you should have been playing in a play-in game against another team. And at least that way you get more teams included. Then you can have your, because the whole thing with the G5 teams is they don't want to get sued. Just like Phil said earlier, it's about the lawsuit thing. But I mean, and the NCAA and the committee's kind of full of it too. Week when they ranked Notre Dame, then BYU, and then Miami, and all along they had been saying, well, they're not close enough. Well, BYU had just gotten beat by multiple points, like 3 touchdowns at Texas Tech. They were going to lose that game. Okay. Right. Unless something happened from a turn. So then you were going to put Notre Dame and Miami back to back, and it allowed you to flip them on the last show, which is made for TV. So they can talk all they want about. I mean, all they had to do was watch the game, and they could tell that was going to happen. And truthfully, why is BYU punished? Because they had to play an extra game against the team that beat them, and their only loss right now is to Texas Tech. So, I mean, look, it's never going to be perfect, but it's got to get better than what it is right now. And if you just take the things that are in play now, just have another play-in game. So just take your Vanderbilt, your Oklahoma, your Texas, and your Miami at this time, and even Notre Dame. Like, everybody lets Notre Dame off the hook. Like, I really don't blame Notre Dame for what they did, but at the same time, join a conference. You know what I'm saying? And then really, the ACC shouldn't allow that to happen, but they do. But, you know, Notre Dame's not going to give up that money for the NBC thing. No. And truthfully, going to a bowl game costs them money, so they're actually saving money by not going to the bowl game. But I'm just saying, I'll let all those teams play this past weekend, and then you'd had play-in games. And that's with the system you have now. Okay. I still think there needs to be more work done to where the conference games mean something, and winning your conference means something, and it allows you to go to the playoffs. Like, I still think you need to have that, because you really don't know year in and year out which conference is better. It's a lot of times it's based on perception, but I mean, Duke won their conference. Now, I understand it was a bad deal and the way it was set up, but at the end of the day, they won their conference, so they should still have the right to continue to play. And that's a really up.
You sent me the tweet. Yeah, Ryan Pry just brought it up, that Notre Dame, starting next year, if they're in the top 12, they're in.
Yeah.
Who signed off on that, and how is that okay in any world?
Well, exactly. I mean, they were probably afraid of that. Notre Dame was going to sue them, the committee. I mean, it makes no sense. I mean, I saw that yesterday, and basically, I mean, you know, it just makes no sense. I mean, that they would go that route. I mean, the games need to be played on the field. The system you have now is too inclusive. That I understand that. So if you're going to have this inclusivity, just play more games. And really, I would not want, like it used to be, like if you won the SEC or you won the ACC, if you won your conference, like that was a big deal, and that was fun. That was right now. You don't like that. They won't tell you this, but they didn't want to play in those games. I mean, why? Because you have a chance of injury to losing an elite player. It doesn't really help you, because, you know, the only thing it can do is hurt you.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, the only thing it does is hurt you. And the team that you're going to play this week had a bye. So that like makes no sense. So that's backwards too. So, I mean, they got to come up with a better system. It's really not that hard. I don't think it's that hard. I mean, you got to play the games on the field and let it be decided there. So, anyway, it'll be interesting to see what they do moving forward. But what the things that we know now are going to change.
I nominate Todd Grantham to be the new commissioner of college football, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
you wouldn't want that job, but I'm just saying.
I wouldn't want that job. I'd rather stay at the lake fishing, to be honest with you, than doing that.
I know. Hey, I got to ask you. Tony was asking, when you were with Coach Saban, of course, you know, he and Coach Hicks were really good, lifelong friends. They were on that same staff at West Virginia. Did he ever talk about times with Coach Hicks, knowing you played for him?
Yeah, we brought it up when I first started. When I first coached for him at Michigan State, he you know, I mentioned it to him. He brought it up, and we talked about it then. And you know, the thoughts he had on Coach Hicks as far as being a good coach and tough, and they're very similar. They're very similar as far as their makeup, their style of play, what they think of as, you know, how to create toughness. They're very similar, and I was fortunate to be around both of them, which kind of sculptured my path through the coaching career to be successful, because both of them were great mentors to me. But yeah, they talked about it, or Nick talked about Joel, and had a lot of respect for him.
That's pretty cool. And I'm sure, like you said, you've probably taken some of that and how you've coached throughout the years. Right?
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, like, look, at the end of the day, football is a tough sport, and the teams that win are the tough-minded people. And that's the way. And players like tough love. Okay, and our society needs that more now. And at the end of the day, it's kind of like, what are your goals? Okay, well, you got to give a kid a goal, and you got to talk about all their goals. But if this is your goals, how are we going to obtain that? And the difference is nowadays, kids are, all about the money, all about the, getting to the league per se. Okay. So, hey, that's fine, but we got to use that. Like I'm not going to say, well, when I was at Florida, I had an issue with a player, and he's a disciplinary problem. Okay. So I fixed it. Okay. So here's what I did. I had a that played in the National Football League send me his game check. Okay. So his game check was like $500,000, something like that. Okay. So I asked the kid that I had, I go, hey man, how much is your, at that time it was your off-campus money. I go, how much is your off-campus money? It was like $1,200 or something like that. So I threw out the check and I said, look, this shit right here is what you can make if you listen to me. And I said, that's what you can make in 17 weeks. So here's the choice. If you keep doing what you're doing, then you're going to be making that check that the university's giving you. If you listen to me and do what the hell I tell you to do, this is your check. Right. I didn't have a problem with the guy the rest of the time. I didn't have a problem. So I mean, hey, just use it. I mean, that's it is what it is. I mean, it's funny. Like when I was in Cleveland, I forgot the receiver's name. We had this one guy, man, and of course, receivers, like, they want the ball. Like, well, we had this one receiver, and we'd always meet first on Wednesdays as a game, and he walked in. And at the time, Mo was our coordinator, and he was old school Parcells guy. And it was, a little bit, So anyway, the kid walked in and looked at the game plan and said, oh, hell, I ain't going to get the ball this week, and walked out. I'm like, Mo, I said, have a sheet up in the box that has the kid's name and here are his plays. And that way the guy thinks he's in the game plan. I mean, hell, you may not call him, but he's going to think that for the whole week. So, I mean, you got to understand how kids think, and the biggest challenge is nowadays, and it used to be like this in pro ball, but it's like this nowadays. It's kind of like, how can I get the kid to do what I want him to do, but yet he thinks that's really at the end of the day. Yeah. I mean, how can I get this kid to do the things I want him to do, but it's got to be his idea. And that's the challenge. You got to adjust as a coach and do things that way. So anyway.
Well, finally, I got to ask you, how suspicious was the Raiders field goal yesterday? And is this going to lead to something else? Because oh my God, I was watching the game as a Broncos guy going.
I saw that. I mean, I didn't have anything involved with it, but if I was one of those guys, I'd be like, oh my God, like that was crazy. That was crazy.
They are out in Vegas, right? They are based in Vegas. Just saying.
Yeah. That's like when Tressel was the head coach at Ohio State. He's a Youngstown guy, okay. And I was like, and we used to have this deal back when it was allowed, is we'd put $1 on a game and you had to pick your games, right? Well, Ohio State, the only reason I was playing like Bowling Green or some MAC school, and the line was like 30, and they were down by like 28 points. They were up by 28 points. And with 3 seconds or 5 seconds left in the game, they kicked like a 50-yard field goal to win by 31. I said, that's it. I said, it's over with then. So that was those Youngstown guys, man, back in the day. But, yeah, that was pretty crazy how that happened. I mean, I get it. Like, if there's 3 plays left in the game, you kick the field goal, then you got an onside kick, and then you throw a Hail Mary. I get it. But here there's 1 play left, so the game is over. So, yeah.
Clock ran out on the field goal, right?
Yeah, exactly. I never seen that before.
All right, brother. Well, listen, great stuff as always. Thanks for fixing college football. Let's hope they listen to
it. All right, buddy. Sounds good.
All right, man. Stay safe. Enjoy the lake. I know you will.
Take care. Bye-bye.
There you go. Great stuff from Todd Grantham. The coach. That was good. That was good. He just fixed college football in 25 minutes. Thanks to all of our guests today. Jermaine Ferrell. Thanks to Joi Williams. Thanks to Coach Elmassian. Thanks to Coach Grantham. That's great stuff. Thanks again to all of our sponsors. Thanks to Family Fencing, sponsor of our studio here. 540-200-8294. Thanks a lot, Jason Green. You are the best. McClellan Chiropractic, Mark Hunley over off of Peppers Ferry Road in Christiansburg. Go see Mark. If you have any kind of trouble at all with your body, he'll fix it, man. They are the absolute best. The Ready Set Fund, ReadySetFund.com. Reach out to Bob Christ, BobChrist11 at gmail.com. They'll help you or your organization raise some money. Thanks to Travis Williams, Professional Door Incorporated, best in the business at garage doors. And now they have a full staff. Go see Trav and the company. They're the best, family-oriented. Member FDIC, National Bank, that is their membership, and they are the exclusive banking partner of BDST. Thanks to them. Thanks to the attorney Ryan Pryor, BDST Fan Question of the Week, Charles Lee, Little River Heating and Air. They are the absolute best, as are Pulaski County Sports Entertainment, the presenting sponsor of BDST here on YouTube. Loaded for Bear tomorrow on the Tuesday edition. We want to thank Harvey's GM in Radford. Go buy your next vehicle from them. Lawson's Mobile Home Supply since 1997. Located at 300 North Franklin Street, 540-381-8011 is how you reach them. We told you all about what's going on with the NRV Super Bowl. Congratulations to Sarah Williams, the bowler of the month. She bowled a 271 and a 288. It's awesome. And they're going to have the NRV Nightlife coming up starting on Friday, December the 20th from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. They built so many new things there. It's a totally different place. Give the Super Bowl a call, 540-382-5525. Thanks to Brandon at Top Shelf, and thanks to everybody at the Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce. Thanks to Steve and everybody for your support as well. Thanks to you. A lot of fun here today, and we appreciate everything. That's not a bad idea, TP. We'll have to do that. Have to let them argue. Todd made a lot of great points. It's a mess. College athletics is an absolute mess in every way, shape, and form. And we owe it all to the people that were paid to protect it because they got greedy, they got involved with their own money, and they got involved with their own power, whatever it might be. Everything is very, very weird. Very, very weird. We'll see what's happening with the snow here. Let me see if Kevin Myatt. It's not like I have to rush out of here now because we have no Radford today. Heaviest snow expected from 9 to 1 p.m. 1 to 9 p.m. So it's going to start to stack up now. So we're going to have some nasty, nasty, nasty weather coming up. Nasty, nasty weather. That's enough. It can end after today. Everybody stay safe, please. That's the big thing. Prometheus, once again, brother, we're thinking about you. Sorry about your pup, man. I hope I hope it can go as well as it can. We've all been, we've had to face that, and very difficult putting your dog down, brother. We're thinking about you, man. We're thinking about you. We really are. Thanks to everybody. You're great. Best community here on YouTube. I don't care what else is going on. Please subscribe, like, and share our channel. Trying to get to 1,000. And if you want a T-shirt, hit me up as well. $20 here locally. I can mail them to you as well. We've got medium, large, extra large, double X right now. Still trying to get the 3X and the smalls in. And when I do, I'll let you know. Enjoy your day. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll see how it unfolds guest-wise. And everybody take care. Stay safe first and foremost. And we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks again for joining us, everybody. I think we got a lot of ground covered today. It was a lot, man. A lot going on in the football world and elsewhere. And we got it covered today. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Be good.